Okay, so that was that. What's up, everybody? This is Francisco here for Sports Goofs number. Sports Goofs number 154. Keep trying to think. I keep forgetting how much we're on at this point, but yeah, 154. I think. So this is me, just Charles right now. Andrew's gonna pop in soon enough. He said he'll be a couple minutes late. Maybe he's doing something real quick for work. But anyways, Charles, I'm just sitting next to a guy who totally got off right now.
Just a couple dudes getting off, bro. Totally got off right now.
So that means the New York Yankees have moved on to face the Houston Astros, which is going to be fun, actually. It's
We're gonna get swept.
the revenge series, possibly.
I mean, the only revenge for it at the end of the day is just striking out Jose like 5,000 times. And then I just need everybody to just like rock Verlander once or twice because of all the trash talk I've said about him in the last two seasons. But I think Andrew and you partially, I know Andrew for sure, but I know partially you wanted to get the live reaction of us losing and my reaction. Because imagine how it would have happened if it was on the reverse, losing right now, leading straight into the show.
Yeah.
The rage, the
Oh, yeah.
cursing. And I've been on the Twitter, and people are talking about that third base out with Rizzo not touching the bag. So what? It was like 5-1, man.
Well, that was Cleveland's. That was Cleveland's fault for not challenging it. So
yeah,
that's nothing. Yeah, it should have been. It should have been reversed. It was obviously a thing. I don't know if Tito was thinking, I better save this just in case something super important happens later in the game, but nothing like that did happen. So, you never know. Maybe they could have gotten a two-out rally, right? I mean, it would have stalled some things. I don't know. Just things that happen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Cleveland's come back before. So, but
yeah,
I don't know. Tito didn't have his best game managing today. Just having that starter in. Well, it was what it was. Cleveland got farther than anybody thought, anyways. So this is.
Funny enough, I wanted Cleveland in the matchup because I felt they were the safe bet. And I know we went to 5, but my logic was
any central team, yeah.
Well, my logic was that they couldn't match our bats, and technically they were correct. And I watched all the postseason games. We always had the lead, and we effed it up. I felt like if we can get it past 3, then we were good. The problem was those other games we did not get past 3, and then the bullpen and someone's certain inability to manage his pitchers to know how long to keep them. And look, we are decimated by injuries, and we did not bring on Aroldis, and I get that. Sure, but, I had to watch Thursday in Pain. We'll talk about that in a bit. I had to watch Friday. No, was it Friday? It was Friday in Pain, Saturday in Pain, from what I remember. And then, last night was good.
Yeah.
But still intense. And then we just totally got off, bro. Well, last night was rained out, so Sunday night. But
last night was a tease.
I feel like we benefited because I don't like Jameson Taillon.
Yeah.
I've said it in the thing. I've said it in the chat for the last 2 years. He was supposed to be yesterday's starter.
Yep.
And then with Nestor, I think it would have been a completely different thing.
Yeah,
and
Tito didn't go with Bieber, so.
Yeah, well, and it's a hard part to kind of – the pitching for Cleveland has been really good. But they're also built on the rotation and the middle of the innings. But it begs to ask the question, do you put your ace in no matter what if you have this expectation of going on? And what was funny in this game was you saw Garrett Cole warming up. Garrett Cole, who pitched the other day on a 1 day's rest just to be a small inning reliever. And that's very dangerous, but it's about wanting it more. And I can never believe I would say that Aaron Boone, despite, contrary to everything else he's done, wanted more than Tito of all people.
Yeah.
The man who is on the Joe Madden level of we're actually really competent no matter where we go, no matter what ownership wants to give us.
I was surprised that he wasn't going for it, especially this Cleveland team, and like they're not supposed to be here, so why not? Why not roll the dice and see what happens? But then again, Bieber's like their best pitcher, so maybe he didn't want to risk it at the same time because I don't know, or he was saving him to start tomorrow in Houston because you guys got to play tomorrow now.
Yeah, right. I mean, thankfully we did have that 1 day rest, and I was listening and I was watching Sunday's show with Ernie and them talking about it, and Pedro Martinez. I've learned to like Pedro Martinez. You know, it took a long time to get him over there, but then he was talking about some analysis, and then Curtis Grant. Side note: Curtis Granderson, one of the most handsome baseball turned commentators of all time.
Yeah, no, the man dresses sharp. He was a
muy guapo.
Yeah,
between him. The problem with Pedro is that he's like David Ortiz, steals a lot of time from other people. A whole lot of time. I was getting the whole Chuck and Ernie vibes. Right. I felt like the Chuck and Shaq kind of vibe where Shaq was going to beat him for, not giving enough time into it. But the idea was this theory that if you looked, all the teams that had a rest got eliminated. So the Braves, the Dodgers, and whoever the hell Houston had to go through. Seattle actually didn't really have rest.
They played 2 games in one, basically. So
it was fantastic. Anybody, and I watched that because I was with the in the old kingdom, and that was holy religion. So 16 innings of Seattle baseball, and the thing is, I only know like 2 players on Seattle because I can't watch West Coast games. And the one West Coast team that I know for the AL is the disreputable Houston Astros, because I'm obsessed with that so much that I got to know their players from top to bottom. And the whole stat line was like the teams that were consistently playing and eventually ended up advancing. And to be fair, if you look at how Houston is to play basically 2 games in a quarter, to be fair, they were consistently going. But the idea was that the hitters are always hidden, and that's great, so they're not getting that rust. But I mean, for me, it's like all of our pitchers were out there, man, and it was terrible. This is why I'm a big proponent of more men on the roster, especially when you have this diverging philosophical process of how to utilize pitchers in a bullpen, because you have guys who do matchup and guys who do innings, and you have guys who are just there. And yes, it's more pay coming into it, but man, I don't want to see Wendy Peralta tomorrow. That's how I feel about it, because Wendy, I felt, screwed us up the last 2 times. Coming into it, and it was just like terrible. Especially since pitchers are meant to go 5. You can't go 5 deep anymore, man. Not the season's too long.
No, playoffs is a 3-man rotation at this point.
Yeah, and I mean,
throw your back guys into the bullpen. They can be long relievers.
What's wild, what people forget, is the strategy for the divisional is vastly, and I feel bad because aside from the Padres and the Phillies, no one in the AL obviously have been the wild card game. So they've been 2 more games added on to them, because now you're going. There's Curtis Granderson right now, looking like a sharp, handsome guy, and there's Pedro Martinez, look like he bought part stock in Office Depot, and he just wants to advertise. Look, I gotta get a zing in there. Pedro is good, arrogant, and we like him, and I'm not gonna hate on him. Oh man, he's wearing sneakers with that attire? I don't know if you're watching the game, but that just downgraded like that.
There's the post game.
Yeah, the post game.
And he wears sneakers with that. A bunch of guys wear sneakers underneath.
But not Curtis Granderson. Curtis Granderson looks like he's going to shake
Curtis Granderson is sharp, man.
Curtis Granderson looks like he's going to shake your hands and kiss them babies, man. Jesus. I don't know. Like,
zoom in on Pedro there.
let's have fun with this as killing time, because I'm very baseball focused. Is there a certain age that you get where you can't have the ball sack chin hair anymore, that you just have to grow up? Because that is he I think the reason why is if he shaves it, he looks like the Dominican version of Carl from Up, and I can kind of get that. But like at a certain point, we all have to either grow. I think at he's 52 now.
Yeah, Pedro's old.
Yeah, you should be able to grow it all out. He had it back in New York and in Boston, but I'm not liking the underbrush. I'm not liking what some poor college.
He needs some old man energy. That's what he needs.
He needs some old man energy. It's go from there. I forgot the guy's name.
Giancarlo, looking real dapper and muscular,
built. And you know what? Can we say Charles is right? Which is rare. We get the Charles Stradamus, but that's about predictions. Now we're getting Charles is right on certain things. For 3 years I've said I don't care if he's injured, I need him for the postseason. And he kind of did show up last postseason. He was better than Judge last year. And then Judge is whatever. Get rid of him. I don't care. I'll offload him. I'm over him. I'm over him so much because the pressure that he created to get Roger Maris's creepy ass looking son was basically like Candyman that couldn't get out of the mirror
and was completely boomer energy on Twitter after that.
He sucked out all of Judge's energy.
Yeah,
and he overcompensated. Granted, he did have two home runs, but Giancarlo did me the solid, and that's why I sent you guys the stats. I was like, "Oh, you beautiful man of just pure chisel." Whereas my grandfather was like, "He doesn't even have a batting stance." I'm like, "I know, he just hits it."
Who, like, Giancarlo?
He has it, but he doesn't do the leg kick or anything.
No, he just basically swings, and his arms will do the rest.
Ball,
his arms will do the rest.
Yeah,
that's
it. Plays it like street ball. I can't do a Pedro. Do you think he has the underbrush because he doesn't want to have the double chin shown? It's not like he was the skinniest guy to begin with when he was pitching back in our youngin days.
Well, I mean,
trying to make this about Pedro Martinez.
I don't know. He gained the weight after 2004, like when he went to New York with the Mets. That's what happened.
There's only one Boston Red Sox player that I declaratively dislike, and I will never give him props at all, and that's always going to be Manny. Because but everybody else gets a pass, even Johnny Damon, ass, and that's partially because of 2009.
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah, well, that's it. But Jacoby, it wasn't like we hate you because you're like just unlikable. It's just because of that contract. But that's on us. I didn't even hate Veritek. He had every right to knock the shit out of A-Rod. Like fuck yeah, man. Just like pop him. It's fine. He deserves it. But I don't know. Giancarlo, though, what an excellent thing. And you know what kills? What's literally terrible for anybody who loves baseball about the ALCS and the NLCS? All the big market money spending teams are there. And it gotta bother everybody. It's gotta bother everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
It's debatable if you can call Philly that big market, but they paid money for Kyle Schwarber.
Oh yeah, they paid like 100 and something odd million. They're like one of the top 5 spenders, top 10 spenders.
Number 4 or 5, and they have Bryce Harper, who well-deservingly, I'm happy for Bryce.
Yeah.
And then the Padres, like they're doing this also.
They spent 200 and something million
without Fernandez, and then watch them win it with Soto, who didn't do anything in his trade-off, and I'll have like a blow-up game. And then you got us, and then you got Houston.
Soto, Soto showed up in the playoffs. That's what. Yeah. Which is basically what they got him for. So.
Yeah, and you know what? It's actually a proper, a segment because, you don't have Fernando, and then he's not there. And with Cleveland, what you like about baseball when it gets to small time with good management, and that's what I'll say with Seattle with Surveys, even though they basically got swept, and Cleveland is that. Damn, that was it. Aaron. Is it wrong that I'm saying Aaron Hicks is gone, but I don't have to see him like strike out in my lineup for the ALCS?
Nah.
You got to play for keeps, man. Chestnut checkers.
Yeah.
But it's the kind of, because here's the honest truth. Most of the time, small ball teams are built the same where they don't have mashers. I don't know who the mashers are on Cleveland. I know they're pitching. I don't know who the mashers are for Seattle, except for Julio, and Julio's like in his second year, I think, coming into it. So you have to appreciate those measures because it really shows you who's not as fraudulent in comparison to some of the teams that lost out in the wild card round. Because Toronto, fraudulent for bad management. The Rays, just fraudulent because their ownership hates them.
Yeah, the Rays are whatever. I think I hear Andrew.
Okay, he's coming in. The Dodgers game. So I might have said, I will say this. I was probably like 4 tequilas in at Bayside.
Andrew, is that you?
To not realize that the Dodgers lost. Hey, Andrew, you there?
Yeah, I'm hearing snorting.
It's not me. And
you rang?
Oh,
yeah. There we go.
So I got a question for you, Andrew. Since you came in, because I'm looking at Pedro Martinez right on my screen right now because the Yankees won. So you have to support us now. Is there a certain age as a man that you cannot have the underbrush facial hair anymore, that you just got to give it up? You grow more facial hair than Francisco and I do really quickly, so you are kind of like our Odin of facial hairs. I've seen you with that beard. Tell us a wise one as you hung yourself on Yggdrasil and gave your eye for wisdom.
At
a certain age, not having just the the ball chin hair. For no one who doesn't know the imagery, it's just your chin. I don't know like the spread between.
Charles got off today, Andrew. So he's just like he's all up in it. I mean, he's gushing over Kyrgyzstan, which I'm not gonna lie.
They call him the Grandy Man because he can.
Yeah,
man. Like,
can.
Jesus.
Indeed.
Man,
just sharp.
Going into it.
So what you're talking about is just
it's Jimmy Rollins.
No other facial hair.
Just that, no other facial hair. He got bald. That's what happened. Yeah, just that, no other facial hair.
Wait, so you missed... Wait, Kyrgyzstan's not on the show?
No, he is, and then Jimmy Rollins is there.
Yeah, Jimmy Rollins is there, yeah.
He has no drip, man. Like, I get that if you want to go with that jacket, that's fine. You don't go with that kind of tie. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so chin hair, Andrew. Like, it's because Pedro's got the double chin, and he's probably ashamed.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to kind of be seen. But, man... Whereas
he doesn't look good as a portly fellow, that's for sure.
No. You got Curtis
It makes him real, like you can look at his, like it makes his age really stand out.
This is a sports show, everybody.
Yes. It's a sports show. Yeah. We're analyzing the ALDS, but in a different way.
I don't know.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Not part of these.
Let me ask you this: you're at your 30. Would you just have the chin hair? And it's not even the full chin hair either. It's like a receding chin hair.
I feel like who's ever pulled off solely the chin hair?
White supremacists?
Well, I don't want to say that's pulling it off. That's just the look that they have. But I'm saying someone that can pull it off. You know.
I mean, it's a phase that we all do.
Are there any actors, any musicians, like anybody you could think of, even athletes that pulled off just slowly the chin hair?
I'm sure there was a death metal singer.
Probably.
I think James Hetfield, did pretty good.
Yeah, James is fine, but I think it's because it's really like the carpet matches the drapes because his long bigote also was part of his spiky hair. After he cut everything from his long hair straight to Metallica when we did Load? 97 is when that whole look kind of came out. Yeah, Charles is a Metallica fan, so we can go into
all right, so we're going to James Hetfield now. So we're just going to look at this.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Right, we're just going to go here.
Listen, all I'm saying is I didn't know
there he is.
2 came out. Yeah, look at the hair. I'm telling you, it's because the carpet matches the drapes, man. Back in those days. It's like it just fits. Now, I don't like his handlebar mustache, though. Leave that to Lemmy from Motorhead. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, I guess James Hetfield pulls it off.
Yeah. Good selection, Andrew.
There we go.
Odin knows over there.
Yeah. All right. I guess. Oh yeah, this is a sports show. So, friggin' hockey. We just had our first week, so things are moving with hockey. NBA starts tonight as well.
Yeah.
So that's about to go down real quick. And then we've got
Charlie coming.
Yeah, college football happened, NFL happened, right? So we got the whole shebang right now.
Yeah, now we're back to being interesting for a sports show, and which means we're not going to talk anything about sports.
Exactly.
Because we just literally went down the rails.
James Hetfield's literally right here on our screen.
Well, I mean, technically they had Enter Sandman from Mariano, and so is that not the most relevant sports?
All right.
Do the Narcos cartel shit?
So let's see. What should we talk? I haven't really noticed any change in your accent, Charles.
Oh no, it was the mannerisons.
The mannerisms.
So, okay, so I guess
here.
Do we want to just start like this?
Yeah, let's go. What happened? Where'd you go?
So here's the thing. It's the mannerisms, but the Spanish came out. The Spanish came out. It took about 4 hours in adjustment.
Went to one bodega and that was it.
Yeah, right, yeah. So I flew in at like 3 p.m. I came into New York. I get an Uber. I go from there. 5-star ratings for both my Uber drivers because they didn't talk to me. That's great. Fantastic. We flew in from LaGuardia, then we're going to Queens. So my grandparents, they live in Queens. It's in the Rico Park. It's in, the 5 boroughs that you have in there. Everything's a walking. It's the real city. It's not like everybody's like, I'm from New York. I'm like, where are you from? Long Island. I'm like, get the F out of here. You're not seeing anybody dealing crack, and the little kid's the one who's dealing it. Get over here. So we go there, and then the first night, me and my uncle were supposed to go out to Manhattan, but he had a work event, and it rained out too. And I was very tempted to go to Game 2 of the Yankees game. And I told you guys, I would have dropped it. I would have dropped that cash because I wasn't getting no damn nosebleeds. I was gonna go get that overrated Philly steak. No, they didn't have the Philly steak. They had the burger, right? Or whatever the hell that New York.
Oh no, they had it was a New York steak strip sandwich.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I wasn't crazy then. So I would have go from there, eat it, and then just be in pain. And it didn't happen. And so I paid my dues because, you go to see elderly grandparents, one who is 92, the other was 85. And you got to take it, right? There's no way to say it. And then the accent was coming in because I don't really speak predominantly Spanish in my household. And then I don't work in a field which advised me to have to speak a lot of Spanish. But my grandmother's straight up Argentinian, man. All she does is speak in Spanish and she can speak English. So it wasn't coming into it. So I didn't get the New Yorker going on that talk. What happened was the words became easier to come out speaking in Spanish. The flip was switched, or the switch was flipped. And, what I remembered was about phonetics. When I speak in English, I have to kind of speak a little bit with my chest. I don't know what the hell a diaphragm is. Everybody, for 33 years, I tried to figure out what it is. I looked at the little posters. I tried to go to my health class. I'm like, I don't know what it is. But I would speak and widen my mouth when I speak English. And then when I speak Spanish, it's my lips. And I don't have lips. You guys know this. I have them, but I have very thin lips. And then I'm like, all right, it's how I kind of go from here. And I use them. So then Friday was the real friend. So Thursday, we order Chinese foods, whatever. It's a typical staple. It is good. I'm not trying to be that person this is the place you have to go to this day for food, but the general towel was on point. We're not even going to have effort. The wonton soup was really good. So then Friday, I was like, all right, I'm not going to be stuck in this house. I'm in the Stone Age. You're going to get cabin fever and stuff like that. You got to look around. And,
right.
They're all,
you're in the city. Come on.
Well, the whole concept is, for anybody who's outside of certain states, understand this is that if you're going to places of changing seasons, you're going to get discounted clothing. So in New York, they're leading into autumn, right? That fall. That's a real thing. We don't know what that is as Floridians.
Yeah.
But Andrew might, because he's from Oklahoma originally, right? So, you know what the changing of the seasons look like. We sure as shit didn't growing up here. So what is coming in to your local wares is fall clothing and winter clothing. So I'm looking at all these summer clothing. I'm like, I'm going to get a dress shirt for $15. This is fantastic. Lines are too long to want to do it. So I needed a couple of things. And I talked about last show. I needed Colombian food. I wanted Puerto Rican food. I wanted a slice of pizza and all that fun stuff. So I went looking around. I found my Colombian place, Nutripan Bakery. You might hear from that later. I got myself that paisa. So the Spanish kind of came out a little bit because ain't no way in hell you get the good stuff if you order in Spanish. I'm just saying, it's known, it's true. It's like the secret cool handshake that's all right, you're invited to the cookout thing, and then they're like, hola, ¿cómo estás? Again, I'm like, give me the paisa. And then, but it was a bakery. It was a bakery too. So that's what's fantastic. You go to a restaurant. It's not like 2J's where you can get. Actually, I think the white equivalent of it would be like 2J's, where you can get the little bakery.
Hey man, I love 2J's. Yeah,
2J's is fine. But that's the setting I think I can give people.
I haven't been there forever.
If for the Florida, because on the one side you can get all the sweets, and on the other side you just sit down there. Except this is not a big old expensive place like 2J's. It's just whatever. So I go in there and I'm like, all right, let me get the paisa, and then I'm looking at everything and whatever. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka felt when he saw all that candy is what I felt when I saw every pastry known to mankind. I saw fried shell empanadas, I saw baked empanadas, I saw buñuelos, I saw my guava pastries, I saw all that stuff. I saw the shit that I never knew its name from, but I was actually going to ask you, what the hell do the little things have the rings in it that have either the dulce inside or the custard? Because, it's not named. I always just point at some stuff. And I saw photos of it, but you know what I'm talking about? It looks like a horn. Those things are delicious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like, I can't spend $80 here, because what you have to understand is who I'm bringing it back to is a 92-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they eat what they want to eat. And my ass is like, all right, so let me get the paisa. Let me get, I got and I'm speaking goods. It was coming back, guys. You would have been impressed because you're like, what the hell was this from Miami? But in Miami, I know you're lying to me. I know you can speak English too. You're just being convenient like I am. I'm like, all right, dame dos empanadas, por favor, con res, dos empanadas con pollo, muchas gracias. Dame dos guava pastries, por favor. Oh, ¿quieres con queso? Sí, yo quiero con queso. Gracias. It's coming in. The voice changes. Yeah. And my grandfather has very strict rules where he doesn't do soda. So I'm like, ¿quieres un beber? I'm like, give me a Pepsi. I was rebellious. So I come to the house, and that paisa, man, holy shit. We had skirt steak. We had chorizo. I love chorizo, guys. It had the griddle cake. It had the egg. I'm getting like excited over this because I thought it was done after seeing Giancarlo Stanton just doing something good. Now I'm revisiting some other habits in my life. We had rice. We had beans. All this stuff. So I'm making a plate. Everybody's eating. And then later that night, me and my uncles went out to Bayside and we went to the local poorhouse and I had the best buffalo chicken sandwich I have had in my life. That is not me exaggerating anything. That's not me even giving it a special shine because it was in New York. No, fellas, it was the best. Why? Because it was dunked in the chicken, perfectly sauteed with good bread that they had. They covered it with nacho queso. I sent y'all a picture. Yeah. I'm like 4 drinks in when I finally came into it because I had, my first bite out of beers. What the hell was that? It tasted so good. You know how like you eat something and you still remember how it tasted? That could be either a good thing or a bad thing. That's how it was. I was in love. It was good. I cannot, from now on, going forward, I cannot have a buffalo chicken sandwich ever again without contemplating, like, can I get some nacho queso? And then looking like the weird guy. I feel like Marty McFly in Back to the Future when he does the whole Johnny Be Good and everybody's like looking at him like, what the hell? It's like, oh, you don't get it, but the kids are going to love it one day. Hear me out. October 18, 2022 at 7:47 p.m. That's how it felt.
Exact time and date.
It is transcending because, guys, I love chicken. I love buffalo chicken. Y'all know this. Holy shit. And then, then we went to the bar afterwards. That's a different story that I cannot tell on live television going on. That was fun. And then, it was pizza and the next day and some more Chinese. And then,
just might as well get some good pizza where you can get it,
We got from Rose's, got the square and the triangle, and everybody's like, what the hell is that? I'm like, I'm just making it simple because some people don't understand that you can get like the Sicilian. I don't want to go into specifics, but that was enjoyable. But I love my uncle, so I'm gonna give him a shout out for this one. There was one thing I forgot. I feel like we have to explain this to Andrew if he's never had this before, or maybe you, Francisco. The one thing I forgot, and he brought, and I forgot about it, and I was in the pastry place, so I was in Columbia Bakery. He got me sandwich de migas, and I love sandwich de migas. It is basically a Argentina-style sandwich base where everything is thin spread, and you have like thin meats, like mayonnaise spread and all this stuff, and it's like crustless bread on the whitest bread. I can get like 60 of them, and I just love that. Oh, have you never had it?
No, I mean it's not a Nicaraguan thing, so
yeah, but you know of it, right?
Maybe
it's like
let me look it up. What's it called?
Yeah, sandwich de miga, MIGA. They go sandwiche, which every Hispanic person I know is like, we just call it sandwich. Who the hell calls it sandwiches? And then poor Andrew's
sandwich
like, I don't know what this is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you'll know of it.
I know of it, and I probably have had it in some point.
A few places.
Yeah, sandwich Olympico is a different name for it, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day,
I think you can get like with those party platters. They sell these.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So at the end of the day, we did not get the Puerto Rican food because something had to go in there. Something had to give because I would have to go all the way to like Brooklyn to get it, and I don't want to go to Brooklyn. There was some opportunity to get like Dominican food, but I was like, I won't work. And Andrew might be asking Charles, how's it different, upon ethnicities for actually people making it in the food? Well, the carne it was good, and it tastes a lot differently because it's a different kind of marinade, a different kind of sauce, a different kind of seasoning, and then hit that up. Oh, it had chicha as well. I forgot to mention that. I love chicharrones because that's what the paisa had. I love chicharrones. I'm looking at my poor grandma. I'm like, you're not gonna lose a tooth, are you? Because that shit is that pork crackle. Andrew, do you know the greatness of chicharrones?
Chicharrones.
Yeah, bro. He's like, no, it's basically fried pork belly.
Give me a second to recover here because you've been talking at 500 miles per hour.
He's so excited.
Understood maybe about half of what you said.
I got too into it, man. It's like method.
And I understand you went. I think you went on a diatribe or something in Spanish, and I understood literally zero of that.
Oh, look at that sandwich at Miga though. Just 3 guys about to get off.
I've heard of chicharrones, but I've never had it. I don't believe.
I just feel
it's
I
pork,
feel like,
right? You're Jewish. You probably wouldn't have had it. I'm assuming.
Probably, but it is something worth going to hell for.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I feel like a politician doesn't wrong.
I mean, just when I think of
who I am.
I just think of it like it's man. I just know it just feels like eating a heart attack, to be honest.
It really is, and that's why you have to do it as an appetizer.
It's heavy, man. It honestly is.
Heavy.
Like
it will kill you.
No, and like it's addicting, and it's got. I mean, just the way it tastes, but like at the same time, it's like I'm just gonna have a heart attack. Like I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. You know. Sheesh.
With that all said, Aaron Judge, why would you want to leave New York? I just literally gave you the platter. I literally just gave you that was the pitch. Forget the money. What the hell are you gonna go eat in? You know, well, technically, if you went to the Mets, you can get the same thing. But what the hell are you going to eat if you go over to, like, for example,
LA?
Yeah, LA. We got street meat. All right, so you have a dead dog in there in that taco. No, man.
Street meat, Mexican stuff. And they got mostly the Central American stuff. Not Nicaragua, but, like, Honduran, El Salvadoran, Mexican, of course. And then, like... And then the Asian stuff. The Asian food, you can't compare. That's what I say when I go to... When I go to California, Los Angeles... I make a like imperative that I go at least once to a dedicated Asian place, and man, just like the best ramen soup I've ever had, it was in Los Angeles. Yeah, like they do it right there.
So that was essentially my big visit. It's not that I got the accent. It's not like how Stella got her. Well, actually, no. We'll call it more like how Stella got her groove back to the accent. I just got my Hispanic accent. Be like, oh, why are you hiding who you really are? You're a Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what happens when you live more in a very white gentrified area coming into it. So yeah, there you go.
Okay.
And now I'm just looking at my mail, the Fanatics and Yankee shop. Like the Yankees go to the ALCS. I'm like, just to get swept by the Astros. You see, we brought it back to sports.
Ooh, alrighty. So we're at 32 minutes. Yeah. Oh, Andrew, let's talk about what we did yesterday.
Yes, we went to the batting cages.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we went to the batting cages. My arms are incredibly sore. I don't know about you, Andrew. How are your arms going?
Surprisingly not. Surprisingly not.
See, I'm a middle-aged old man now, so that's like I'm not as limber as I used to be. My arms are like I can move them, but like there's tension and there's soreness for sure. And you know, funny thing, we went like what time would we go? Like we were there like at 7:30. That's when we went. Like so, at 7:30 p.m. we went. It was raining yesterday, so it's so some of the batting cages, I guess they were too wet, and maybe the machines were wet and the balls were soggy. Anyways, we're talking about a guy who totally got off next to me, but so there were only like what four cages open, right, Andrew? That we were allowed to go.
More or less.
Yeah, but the thing is, one was the 40-mile-per-hour one. The other one was like what, the 60 or the 50, and the other one was the 60, right? Yeah, I think those were three of them, and then like after that went straight up to 90 miles per hour. And there were like these other guys that were hogging the other three, and I was like, well, I guess we'll do the. I didn't realize it was the 90 until I got into the batter's box. I went first. I put in the coin. I was like, all right, let's give this a shot. I thought the machine had like a little thing so I could select the speed. I was like, oh, it just says baseball. I'll just click that. And then next thing you know, phoom. Oh, phoom. Oh, God. So it was going at 90, and that's basically what we did the entire night. We had, both of us had 3 shots, 18 pitches each shot. I mean, the only unfortunate thing is like probably like 5 or 6 of those were unhittable because they were either on the ground or completely outside. So that was, I mean, that you know what it is. It is what it is. Over there, it was at that batting cage next to Tamayo Park, next to FIU. But either way, I started getting used to it because like by the end of my first round, I started fouling stuff off, and then the second one, I started actually hitting. Hitting towards the right side, and then
how are you guys' hands? Got them calluses yet?
Well, Andrew brought batting gloves, which was a godsend for me because I blister easily. My hands blister incredibly easily. So he brought batting gloves and a batting helmet, so that was a good save by him. And we both used the metal bat. He brought 2 bats. He brought a wood one and a metal one, but we just used the metal one exclusively. But we were just trying to catch up to the 90. I finally got... I laid into one on the 3rd round, though. The 3rd round was my best round. I started actually making consistent contact on it and stuff like that. So for the most part, and just think, hey, 3 for 10 is pretty good. So I got some at the end, but I was trying to coach up Andrew because it's been a while for both of us. When was the last time I went? I don't remember the last time I went to batting cage. When was the last time you went, Andrew? Other than yesterday. When we were in law school. Yeah, when we were in law school, right? We went once, didn't we?
Probably that was probably law school.
Yeah, I think we both went.
I may have gone more recently than that, but it's been at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, pre-pandemic, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is like the first time we've gone. Like we thought about it too in the past about going, but just I guess time never lined up. Last year, like spikes and whatever, and okay, fine. But this year, I think we finally had the confidence to go, and we did. And now we honestly, how can we go back to like 60, 70 miles per hour once we did 90 already?
We can't.
Yeah,
that's the point.
So at this point, we're just gonna have to keep hitting 90, and eventually we'll get scouted, and then we'll leave the legal business because that's the dream of everyone. So.
The boulder of Sisyphus over there just keep going higher and higher in your charges.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. When I did the batting cages, it would always just F my wrists up a little bit. I get the calluses, but when you go on those higher, like you feel like cool and you can knock like a 20 burger and then maybe something at 40.
Yeah.
But then like that high end stuff, I like did it one time at like 60 and I'm like, did my hand just shatter?
I don't know how you're not sore, Andrew. Like I feel it like in my wrist and in my back and my shoulders, pretty much everywhere for the most part.
Yeah, I'm honestly I'm just as surprised if you are, if not more so, because I honestly don't know how I'm not sore.
Yeah. I mean, but it was fun. It was fun, and we're gonna try. Hopefully, we'll make it a weekly thing. Hey, blow off some steam, right? Hit something. That'd be pretty cool. Blow off some steam, hit some stuff, get better at it, and then yeah. So, but yeah, the batting cage was cool. We actually did a sports thing. So, 38 minutes now. Let's see. Hockey's happening. I mean, it's not much right now. So
isn't Trocheck or whoever Ekblad hurt?
Vincent Trocheck's in New York with the Rangers now.
No, one of you guys.
Yeah, Aaron Ekblad got injured again.
I'm trying. This is my thing. I say it every year. I've been on the show, almost 5 years with you guys. But this year, man, I'm going to try to actually know more than people on the teams that you guys support.
Yeah. So, I mean, this year...
Because you have Jonathan Huberdeau now, right?
No, we traded Jonathan Huberdeau.
You traded Huberdeau for... Well, who the hell did you trade him for?
For Matty Tkachuk, who is...
that's why I thought Trocheck, because Trocheck and Tkachuk, to you guys, are the same thing, same name.
I mean, so basically, we got our own Brad Marchand, Charles.
Okay, that's fine.
We got
that's my equalizer.
Yeah, we got one of our own. Like we couldn't grow one. A guy that has skill and is a total dick to everybody on the ice. A guy that you hate when he's not on your team, but you love him when he's on your team. So but they lost to the Bruins, their first loss of the season. They were 2-0 before that. And Ekblad has a grade 2 groin strain. That's what happened to him. I don't know what grade 2 means. I don't know if Andrew has any insight on that either. I don't know what are the grades for groin strain. Charles was working his groin today. I know that, but I'm not even sure. So, by the way, I'm sure he's out for maybe a couple weeks, I would assume. I don't know how bad it is. Anyways, but yeah, I mean,
according to healthline.com, I don't know how reliable they are.
Yeah.
But it was medically reviewed by Kevin Martinez, MD.
I mean, it's more reliable. A grade 2
pulled or strained groin is a tear that damages a significant percentage of the muscle fibers.
God damn.
Walking might be difficult, and it also might be painful to bring your thighs together.
Oh.
And the heal time is 2 to 3 months.
Oh, come on. This happens every season with this man. Every season. Ekblad could have won the Norris Trophy 2 seasons in a row by now. But every time he gets one catastrophic injury, and then we're just, fingers crossed that he can make it back for the playoffs. This happened. Oh, my. Okay.
That sounds like hope slowly.
That is. I gotta inhale some copium right now, man. Like, I don't want to be mad, but he is literally made out of glass. But he's so good. He's so freaking good. It's the reason we didn't trade him instead of Huberto. Like he's so freaking good. And if he had one good healthy season, he would have won the Norris Trophy by now. It's so sad in a way. I feel bad. This is a genuine reaction from me. Oh God. All right. Well, I guess so. Ekblad's out until January, I'm assuming. So there you go. Panthers are just gonna have to sign somebody off the waiver wire or something like that. They'll figure it out. They got Mark Stahl now, and he's not doing well the first few games already. But the Stars are undefeated, the Bruins are undefeated, the Hurricanes and the Golden Knights. So it's early. Only 3-4 games have been played for most teams at this point. So it is what it is. Panthers can find a way, but the division's just so hard enough as it is, with Tampa and Boston and Toronto in it. And, Ottawa did better last season, and Detroit did better. So, okay. All right, well, but we got Matty Tkachuk, and he's already got 3 points in 3 games. So that's good.
So he's a guy who's 2 years or 3 years younger than Huberto that you guys locked in for
8 years. Yes.
All right, I learned things.
8-year contract. He's locked down. He loves it down here. We're hopefully he can recruit some guys down here if he doesn't piss them off.
He's a bra.
No, he truly is. So no, he loves it down here. He's totally South Florida, all this other stuff. Like he wanted to be here. I mean, he was in Calgary, so I can't blame him. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, there's not really much else that stuck out for the hockey. I mean, they had the Ian Cole thing that NHL was it the NHL or the NHLPA, Andrew, that both put out statements.
It was NHL.
Okay, but the NHLPA put something out too, right? I'm assuming. Well, they did an investigation. And
I assume.
They did an investigation, the NHL, and I guess they didn't find any evidence of anything nefarious. I'm assuming, right? So,
from what I've read, they couldn't do any. They couldn't substantiate the claims in any way.
Well, we'll see. That's an ongoing thing. Who knows? It's not like Deshaun Watson, who keeps getting new allegations thrown into the fire, right?
Yeah, and then what that judge had them, they have to leave to amend for not including the name. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I digress. That's a lot of catastrophic stuff that you can talk about: victimization of sexual assault or allegations of sexual assault, and that's the whole purpose of John. You can get John Does and Jane Does on like unknown tenants when you're trying to evict somebody, but someone's trying to get their privacy. It's not as if they're not going to be able to face their accuser if they're playing a civil suit. But whatever, I'm not a judge. I'm just a clown in a suit, so there you go.
Yeah. All right, so we're at 44 minutes. I'm trying to get better at actually indicating what we have as far as time is concerned, so you guys know.
Do you want to finish off on baseball?
I mean, the NLCS, ALCS is set. I mean,
or did you watch anything else? Did you watch the?
I did. I mean, I was happy for the Padres. I will say that. The Fraudres are. It's funny. The 2 fraudulent franchises in Philadelphia and San Diego are facing off in the NLCS, which is pretty cool. Andrew was hoping that Padres would lose for the meme, but it's also fun to see the Dodgers lose. So.
Yeah, I don't. I'll consider this a win.
Yeah, I think we all do.
It would have been hilarious if the team pulls in arguably one of the biggest trades of all time, getting Juan Soto, and then immediately afterward, their star player goes down for 80 games due to PEDs.
That's right. That's right.
But it was ringworm.
I forgot about that.
And then I was hoping they would just miss the playoffs outright, but obviously that didn't happen. Although they came close.
Yep.
They got very close at the end there.
Yeah, the Brewers fell apart. That's the only reason why.
And then, so I was like, man, maybe if they're eliminated, if they're swept in the wild card round, then maybe that would be funny. But now that they've eliminated the fraudsters,
yeah,
appropriate.
I would say that the Dodgers are more fraudulent than the Padres.
Well,
I would say one man is definitely.
That's what I was going with. Yeah, Dave Roberts, the Doc Rivers of baseball.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and I'm not. We're not the only ones that think that now. So yeah, it's fun.
So yeah, fraudsters, they're gone.
Well, they have so many free agents.
That's awesome.
Now.
So Trey Turner's a free agent, right?
Trey, Hayden, and a few other guys. So when you're talking about window possibly being shut, window could be shut because now sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes people like winning, but the whole concept of always a bridesmaid, never a bride does apply. And for any professional athlete, being called the Mickey Mouse Cup winners. It's got to beat you up a little bit.
I mean,
right?
it's fun that the Lakers and the Dodgers are both the Mickey Mouse champions here. The Lightning legitimized themselves by winning the following season, whereas the Dodgers and Lakers are literally the Mickey Mouse championships. It's fun. It's fun.
Francisco, it is so nice to hear you say that the Lightning were legitimized. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I 2020, yeah, we could have said Mickey Mouse the whole thing if they hadn't won in 2021, but they actually did. So then it's like, okay, fine. Yeah. And then the reign of terror was over this season with the Avs.
They're the initiative.
By the way, speaking of Lightning, for the Lightning.
Yeah, you guys are the blueprint of how to win for Mickey Mouse to actual non-Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Because you did also go to the third straight year, so that's what I'm saying. It's a compliment. I'm complimenting them, damn
it. But anyway, by the way, the Lightning are playing right now.
There's a bunch of games happening tonight.
Like, so weird. Do we have a scroll call? We have a scroll call.
Yeah, I mean,
or score crawl.
Yeah, the whole thing's filled up today. I mean, we got the NFL happened, college football happened, NBA's happening tonight, NLCS just started right now, and so we got Philly and Boston, and then we got the Lakers and the Warriors. So there you go, and then
the ESPN. The ESPN broadcast for the Lightning game actually pointed out something that I should have realized, but didn't, which is kind of a bummer because I would think as a Lightning fan, I remembered it. I just forgot about it. So they're playing the Flyers tonight.
Okay.
So the two winningest coaches in franchise history are facing off against
Torts. Each other. Yeah, Torts in Philly.
Coop is number one, our current coach, John Cooper, and then John Tortorella, and it's the only two coaches that have won Stanley Cups.
Torts. Yeah, we love Torts, so he's one of the good ones. So
well, it depends. If you're talking about the person, sure. If you're talking about the class, it depends.
Like I like Torts.
Legal joke, lawyer joke.
How about the circle?
I like Torts, man. I like his attitude. I like his style. Right? I wouldn't have minded if he was the Panthers head coach, but he's a very limited run coach. He'll get the best out of you for 3, maybe 4 seasons, but maybe that 4th season is when you fire him in the middle of the season because he's lost the locker room. That's Torts. And he lasted in Columbus just because it's Columbus. So, All right, so I still got the sandwich above me.
And as much as I hate to admit it, they did sweep us in 2019.
Indeed. So Torts is awesome. And he's a good coach.
I'm only comfortable talking about that now because, well, speaking of which, Steven Stamkos scored from his office, 2-0 Lightning.
Who the hell is calling me from Seattle, Washington right now? Jeez.
Oh, actually, speaking of which, man, I'm all over the place. So, Charles, earlier when we were messaging about the playoffs, the Yankees, I got a spam call from, of all places, the Bronx.
Oh, it wasn't a spam call. You have like five days to enjoy your life before everything you love is destroyed. I'll set you up on a hit.
Oh, God. Oh, boy.
Listen, all right. Let me tell you something. You spend watching...
All right, guys. You guys talk. I got to pick something up.
Okay, that's fine. You spend watching 2 days of playoff baseball with your 92-year-old grandfather who's basically trolling you for the team losing, even though it's his team too, and then you don't tell me it's not serious this whole entire last couple days of the gaming. He called me, Andrew, a fake fan because I was so angry at everything that was happening Friday with the sports when they blew up. There was 2-0 and then became 2-2 and they're losing thing because Boone didn't know how to pull anything, that I was so angry that I'm like, I'm just going to change this channel. The intensity I had to see, I'm going to call this man this week. I'm like, hey, remember you were saying all that trash? They won! Don't watch sports with family. At my household, the other family members don't watch it, but don't watch sports with family. I got to text my uncle a little bit. And my other uncle, poor guy, he's a Mets fan.
Oh.
So work gave me a Jacob deGrom bobblehead. So I was visiting and I gave it to him. Like, I don't know if this is going to hurt or not, but at least I'm giving you the bobblehead of the only accomplished player that you have on that team. So this begs a good question because we'll open up this segue as we're waiting for Francisco. If you're watching with family members during a postseason and there's about to be a loss, do their lack of intense emotion frustrates you even more so when your team is losing?
Not really.
So you're not insane. Good to know.
The thing is,
all right, I'm back.
Well, we opened up a question, Francisco. So I'll explain to you the question, and then Andrew will answer this because I had explained how my grandfather's trolling me when the Yankees were losing to Cleveland, and those 2 days was making me think because he called me a fake fan because I had to change the channel. It does watching sports with your family who are not as invested as you are make you more intense and angry. Andrew, your turn.
Excuse me. I'm kind of used to it. It doesn't bother me because I'm really the only person in my family that cares about sports. Actually, to the point where I'm asked on a kind of, not all the time, but on occasion. My uncle asks me, how did I get into sports? Because he wasn't into sports. His parents weren't into sports. Their parents weren't into sports. No one in the family was into sports. And then I was, my mom was kind of the black sheep of the family, according to her. She did tennis when she was a kid. She did fencing. She did other sports, unlike literally everyone else in the family. And then I just kind of took from her. But even still, even though she's into sports, I'm the only one that's kind of like a diehard into sports. So to say accept, it's not like I'm mad about it. It's just I understand that I'm the only person that's going to have such a high and low emotion when it comes to sports. but I appreciate when they watch with me. That's cool, and I enjoy that. My sister Danielle, she was living with us for the first couple of years of the pandemic. She was really not into sports at all. She's the opposite. She was the opposite end of the spectrum. I'm on one end. My mom and my other sister are kind of in the middle, and then Danielle is on the complete other end. But she was living with us during the 2020 and 2021 Lightning playoff runs, and I converted her. I don't know what happened, but she's like, ah! It's quite impressive, actually. I'm very proud of it. She'll like, we need to go to a hockey game the next time you're here. Or she's not living with us now, but like, we need to go to a hockey game. Take me to a hockey game, please. It's in that way, she kind of has the same emotions in that regard when it comes to hockey. But I guess that's a long way of saying how the rest of my family reacts doesn't really affect me, bother me, whatever.
Francisco.
I mean, I think pretty much my mom's pretty indifferent to sports. My dad is into it, not as into it as I am. So this past weekend we watched the Dolphins game together. At least the fourth quarter. We watched the fourth quarter together, and so it's like, okay, and like my dad wants the Dolphins to win. He thinks it's fun when they're winning, and of course I'm watching the Dolphins and I'm like, yeah, they're gonna find a way to blow this. They're gonna find a way to screw this up. They don't have Tua, all this other stuff, and he doesn't know that I'm hate watching them. And I guess it's kind of going into the Dolphins game a little bit, but then Jalen Waddle caught that ball. And it was an amazing catch. It was a long drive, a long pass and everything. And then he proceeds to fumble it. And he's like, oh, no, and I'm laughing.
I was laughing because it was on the airplane when I saw that.
Literally
the announcers are talking about, like, oh, they still have a chance in this. And then came that play of the strip, and that was it.
Yep. And honestly, they would have had a chance. They would have had a shot at it. I was like, oh, man. And then, like, he was so mad. I feel so bad for Jalen. Like, I feel so bad for him.
That kind of reminds me of... I've never played this game, and I honestly don't remember which character it is. I think it was from Team Fortress 2, where they go, oh.
Yeah, I mean, either way...
Anyone know that reference?
I don't play TF2.
You say, what do you say, nope? Or what?
I mean, I'm not really into TF2, so... I know they have hats.
I played it like 3 times, so there's that. But Andrew, did you say nope as the thing that they said, or something else? Because maybe it just came across as different.
Well,
it's
one of the memeable things.
He fumbles the ball. It's like nope.
Yeah, and it's probably something you would hear like on urinating trees breakdowns.
Well, I'm glad that you guys
reaffirmed. That's where I learned it.
I'm glad that you guys reaffirmed that I have an abusive household. So thank you, much appreciated. That my psychological and mental health is destroyed by people trolling me in a family member setting about something that should be important to me, and that it's not tough at all. There I am, just about to like bop my hand at an old 1930 like Argentinian doll that's hanging somewhere.
I mean, I've only like every single team like that I follow. My dad will like to watch and hope wins and stuff like that. So, and my mom's pretty indifferent for the most part, but she'll have like a cursory view of things. And my sister is like a casual fan. So, like on Saturdays, college football, she married a sports loving husband. So, like Mississippi State, if that game's on, it's on, right? It's on TV. Or even Florida State. So Florida State, and we lost. Anyways, but like. I was like, last week my sister was like, oh, because she was watching the Seminoles game. Oh, are you watching the Seminoles game? I'm like, why am I going to watch that? I know we're going to lose. like the Seminoles had me for a few weeks, Andrew. I will say this: they had me for a few weeks. Okay, they made me care about college football, but now I don't. Right? So they should be happy that I was there for about 5 weeks. After that, it was over. They screwed up a few games. I was like, okay, that's it. They're not ready yet. Maybe next year. So I'm done with it. I'm not. It is what it is. And then the Dolphins, and I laughed at that. But we are at 1 hour now, so we found a way to fill up 1 hour. So let's do a word from our non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you that we've been enjoying over the last week. So I feel like Charles did almost a non-sponsor basically with his gushing over his homeland for his return.
It's relevant. So I'm glad that you opened up because it allows me to kind of like I guess I'll take it. So yeah, all right. So I'm gonna give you 2 bite sizes non-sponsors that I already talked about, and then the one that kind of got me through. So Nutripan Bakery, that's where I got the Colombian food for the paisa, and then the empanadas, and then the postre. And the postre was, let me tell you something, the guava queso postres were perfect.
What's it called?
When it was 4:30 in the morning. The pastries.
No. But what was the place called?
Oh, Nutripan, Nutri -PAN Bakery. Just put Queens, New York.
PRN. Oh, PAN, Nutripan, like pan, like bread.
Yeah.
Okay.
NUTRIPAN.
Okay.
So I ideally, the godson is, I came back to the apartment at like 4:30 in the morning, and your boy was hungry. So he had his guava cheese pastry, and it was just so good, coming into it.
Queens, New York, right?
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what we got here.
There you go. Off by Junction. 12 minutes
is.
from the grandparents' house. Just I'm looking at that. I got a smile on my face. I'm just looking at all those sweets. Man, the food itself was just delicious and delicate. Oh, they had one in Jamaica. Delicious and delicate and just so damn good. And I spent like $35 on that big amount of the meat, and then the empanadas and everything like that. So that's one go if you're in Queens for international people, or not international, interstate people. Go over there, get your food. They have other foods there too that you can go from. They have the typical stuff that comes into it. You probably get Colombian burger too. You see the specials. You see everything. Daily soups, Colombian. It was very busy. People coming there for the lunch area. That's when I went around 1:30. Yeah, I miss it.
Pan con queso.
They had buñuelos, and I was staring at it, man. I was staring at it too, stuff that I need to go from there. It was just, and I love the cheese guava pastries. It just works so well for me. Yeah. So that's a lifesaver 4:30. So that's part 1. Part 2 would be the local poorhouse in Bayside, Queens, where I had the greatest buffalo chicken sandwich ever made. I don't think there'll be another. If you guys have seen Parks and Recs, I feel like Dr. Harris talking about
local
Jerry's
poorhouse.
Local poorhouse, POUR.
Yeah.
Like poor.
Okay.
And you could just put Bayside, Queens.
Let's see. Bayside, Queens.
There you go. I think.
Alrighty, I got it. Yeah. Let's see. Do they have an official website? They have an Instagram here. Okay, let's go on Instagram.
But that they had some other things too. The fries are good. The fries were delicious. They had different kind of beers, different kind of alcohol that you want to go to. Me, my other uncle split the mac and cheese as well. So that was very, very tasty, very good. I'm sure there was other things. I was looking into their Philly cheesesteak, and I was looking at some other stuff. But it seemed like it was busy and empty at the same time. And I kind of liked that. And they had all the sports games going on. So you can get your jive on and have a good time. So that's my mini one. Next one, which is really the big one that I'm going to go into, something that it's a book. So I played God of War a couple weeks ago. I had purchased Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, which is kind of his version retelling of certain proses and stories that came from other big Norse things. So it's a short book, really. It's like 280 something pages. And I read it both going to my flight in and then leaving. I finished it. And I had read it like 4 years ago, like the first 20 or 30 pages. And I kind of forgot about it. But I was like, God of War's coming up. I want to get back into my Norse mythology. I like Neil Gaiman. I like the Sandman comics. I like the Sandman audiobook that they have in there from Audible. I listened also to The Graveyard. I don't always have time to read and sit down because my mind's always racing. And sometimes I come home and I'm tired. It's something that's been around since I think 2017, 2018. And it has this kind of like interesting way of writing stories. Now, it's not a full narrative, but it kind of takes those short stories or info sessions about your gods that come into it for Norse mythology. And it's just interesting to hear about how it first started with Ymir creating, and then became the giants. And then you have Odin and his brothers. And then you hear stories about Thor and how he's basically just a jock. And sometimes he's the Andy Dwyer of jocks. And then sometimes he's just a real arrogant prick. And then, Loki is probably the best written character. There's a reason why Gaiman's so obsessed with them with, what's that show on Stars? The God Show, American Gods. Which I haven't read and I haven't seen the show, but maybe one day in time. But the way he kind of writes Loki as this, not just mischief. We think Loki so much of being Tom Hiddleston. I'm saying right now, Disney, let it go. Let it go. I don't need a Loki season 2. I don't even need Loki season 1. Just stop with your obsession. Let it die. I like Tom Hiddleston. Let him go do other things. Free him from his shackles. But the way that Gaiman writes Loki is probably the more expansive of the characters that you see in his book. Because of the fact that he's kind of putting his own flavor of it, and I like it because you're seeing how he's just blood brothers with Odin, part giants, son of Luffy, but then he's doing the mischievous, but he helps the gods, and then eventually leads to their destruction with Ragnarok coming in. So it takes you from the creation all the way to Ragnarok. It was about new beginnings, but it also brings back the same players to a certain degree. But it was entertaining. It's a quick read. It's probably cheap now. I recommend to anybody. No, it's not going to be an encyclopedia of Norse mythology, nor should it be, but it has interesting stories. And it's one of those few things that you can revisit and be entertained on. And now that I read it full through, when I go back to it a couple years from now, I don't have to read.
Right?
Yeah, with Mjolnir there. I don't have to reread it from start to finish. Again, I can just read my favorite selections, and I will say I think it's interesting how they talk about the story of Fenrir and Tyr, and what listens to that, Fenrir being the big old wolf that is supposed to eat the sun and the moon when Ragnarok comes in. Also, Last Age of Loki, I think, was the highlight. So that's my non-sponsors, going from there. So local poorhouse for the best goddamn, buffalo chicken sandwich I ever had with Nandro Queso, Neutral Bakery for everything. And then Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology, all one big promo code. So promo code, what do we want to do? Entertainment. We'll just keep it simple.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go, Andrew, or do you want me to go?
I'll let you go.
Okay. All right, guys. So mine is I don't know if I've done this before, but it's just something that I really, really like, and I bought some, and I probably shouldn't have, but I did. And I'm a grown man, and I feel like eating it, so that's what I'm going to do. So I got Goober, Smucker's Goobers. I love Goober.
Yeah.
That stuff is addicting.
Goobers are good, yeah.
Yeah, they have it. I've only really seen 2 flavors, the grape and the strawberry. But yeah, there it is. It's from Smucker's, so Smucker's always makes some good stuff with their with all their gems and the jellies and whatnots. They got recipes here. I never look on these official websites for these recipes.
Man, that takes me back to a younger, simpler time.
Indeed. And yeah, I mean, is it under? Okay, they got. All goober. What the hell is this? Are there more varieties that I don't know about? Oh, they only have 2. Okay, I was about to say. I thought they had a whole thing. But anyways, goober. So it's peanut butter and it's jelly all in one, but it tastes different. The peanut butter doesn't taste like pure peanut butter, and the jelly doesn't taste like pure jelly. It's some sort of, I don't know, amalgamation. But they come in these like stripe things, so it's like, a little bit of peanut butter and then a little bit of jelly, and it's all like this. You open it up and it's all nice and neat and looks like candy on the inside. It looks so pretty. Well, then you start actually getting into it, and the way that I eat, like I said, I eat like a dumpster raccoon. So by the end of it, it's just a brown and purple mush. But I love brown and purple mush. I love mush. It's gonna end up that way anyways. So, and I can finish a jar of this in like a day. Honestly, I have to like actually control myself when I get my hands on one of these. I can only buy like 1 jar every 6 or 7 months. At best. Or maybe even once a year, I get one of these to indulge myself. I really cannot buy more of these because if not, I'm gonna. It won't be good. It just won't be good. 3 tablespoons to 220 calories. It's actually better than normal peanut butter, to be honest. It's more bang for your tablespoons. That's for sure. And yeah. I mean, you just. I don't even need bread for it. I could just eat it out of the jar. It's so good.
I feel like you just sold me a statement on crack. More bang for your tablespoons.
If they ever legalize crack, that should be a slogan for somebody. Anyways, yeah, that's what I like. So, a goober, promo code crack in a jar. You ready, Andrew? Look around your room.
That's a very interesting.
I told you yesterday I bought a jar of this. It's almost done. I've almost eaten all of it. It is so freaking good. I love it. The jelly just it doesn't. It's not jelly. It's not jam either. It's a purple.
It's a goober.
It's goo. It's purple goo, and it's good goo. All right, it's what made the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mutants.
Teenage Mutant or
the Secret of the
Middle-aged Mutant Ninja Francisco.
Yeah, Secret of the Ooze. There you go. Not a bad sequel. I have to watch it again.
The second one's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'll die on that hill.
I don't remember anything from the third one, to be honest.
You should know that it's Casey Jones with a bunch of Japanese men in their underwear.
Yeah,
that's one thing you need to remember. And then Leo uses his katanas to give the guy a weird haircut. Yeah. And that Paige Turco is, still to this day my favorite April O'Neil.
Andrew.
I had it for a second. Forgot what it was.
Paige Turco does that to me too. I forget sometimes. It's right, buddy.
Hold on. Let me get the name of it really quick. 1 sec.
So, let's see. I've been trying to catch up with Murders in the Building. Only Murders in the Building. I'm watching that.
Side note: they made the pretzel bacon bread bun or whatever better. Because remember the first time we had it, the burger wasn't
Wendy's?
Good. Yeah, the chicken one was good, but the burger wasn't good. But I had the one before I came to the show because my spirit just knew I had to have a celebration meal, and it is better. Okay. I also did try a new hot sauce, but it kind of congealed a little bit. So I might get the hype up on that one. We just have to wait to kind of see it from there. We'll do like mini hype sponsors as Andrew tries to like figure out what he's trying to go and pick.
Yeah. I have to figure out. I gotta cook something this week. Like I gotta make something new.
I don't watch a lot of shows. It's tough, going into it besides wrestling and sports. But, I know people told me to watch the Only Murderers in the House thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I have to do my annual watching of What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, because since we're in spooky season, because I don't watch actual horror movies. I never got like.
And you don't watch the series, right? The TV series?
Yeah, I watched like 4 episodes and it was fine, but I think it was just more or less like it lost me a little bit.
It gets better.
Probably try to watch it
if you can get through season 1, which isn't like it's not bad, but it's not great. But it really like it hits its stride in season 2.
Like I feel like I could force myself because
I'm back.
The problem is. Oh, welcome back. The problem is sometimes I'll get engaged in something and then it'll collect me, such as my rewatching of It's Always Sunny in Parks and Rec. Go ahead, Andrew. Tell us what you got.
So my non-sponsor for today is Reese's Fine Foods.
You got to spell that for me.
Yeah, please.
RESER apostrophe S.
RES.
But more specifically, their sea salt and black pepper oven roasted potatoes.
Proud sponsor of Good Times, not the TV show.
All I got was something from Oregon.
All right, so let's see. They got a big old.
I don't know if they're. I don't believe they're a Costco exclusive, but that's where I've found them only is at Costco. They are very delicious. They are made with, according to the box, a blend of baby red and yellow potatoes, roasted in 100% avocado oil, no artificial colors or flavors, and preservative-free. From Costco, you get two 20-ounce trays, ready in about 8 to 9 minutes if you put it in the microwave, or 15 minutes or 25 minutes if you put it in a regular oven. It is very tasty and quite healthy too. Only 150 calories for half a cup. Relatively low sodium. I would recommend it. It's a nice little side to add to your dinner dish. This is the second time that we bought them. First time was for Rosh Hashanah a couple of weeks ago. Very tasty. Highly recommended. Pretty cheap too. I won't say they're gonna like blow your socks off, because I don't know, very few freezer foods do, but they are very good nonetheless. Promo code avocado oil.
Avocado oil.
Right. I hated everything you just said right now. Avocado oil? So you want butt juice? All right, you kinky man there. I don't want anything that's healthy. I just gave you counteracted the health, the bad health that I gave.
Well, Andrew's a healthy guy right now, man. He's doing good. So,
yeah.
I probably had the worst thing health-wise, but yeah, and I didn't do exercise today. That's I had a 3-day streak going. I'll play some Switch sports later on. That'll be it. Okay, so we're at 1 hour and 17. It's relatively quick for our non-sponsors, actually, and let's talk about college football, because apparently Tennessee is back, which is, hide your kids, hide your wife. Everybody's going to die. Like, Nick Castellanos is still playing baseball right now, so maybe that's a harbinger of doom. Possibly. But yeah, apparently Tennessee's back, Andrew.
We'll see. I'm sure Tennessee fans are wondering when the dream is going to end, because this has been a dream season so quick. It's only Heupel's second year at Tennessee. But it's very interesting. Tennessee is 6-0, and they just beat the number 2 or 3 team in the country. I can't remember. Alabama for the first time since 2006. So during Saban's entire tenure at Alabama, he's not once lost to Tennessee. Which, that's a hell of a streak.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, the way this season is going, seems like every week could be an upset.
So let's,
people still thought Tennessee, or look at the top 25, I guess.
Yeah, let's go through the scores, right? Let's see what anything that maybe is something that stands out to you. Kind of like how me and Charles go down the rundown with NFL. So, the Illini beat. Are they still the Illini in Illinois?
Yes.
Okay, so they beat.
The Fighting Illini.
Okay, they beat Minnesota. So 26-14. Texas, who is still not back, but apparently they think they are, won 24-21 over Iowa State. Ole Miss beat Auburn 48-34. And if anything sticks out to you, Andrew, just pop in. Michigan destroyed Penn State 21-17. TCU, who has not lost this season, right? They beat OK State 43-40. The Syracuse, who are also undefeated.
No, they're undefeated.
Right. Okay. Syracuse is undefeated too, right?
Yeah, Syracuse is undefeated.
They beat NC State 24-9. Georgia destroyed Vanderbilt,
That was a bit surprising.
Yeah, Vanderbilt, who shouldn't have a football program, 55-0. And then of course Tennessee beat Bama. Tulane beat South Florida and are now ranked for the first time in what? How many years?
I think 1998.
Yeah. So the Green Wave are actually ranked.
Which they deserve to be. I mean, they're a good team this season. They beat Kansas State, which is a ranked team. Their only loss, I believe, was to UCLA, which is also highly ranked. According to the Reddit CFB poll, UCLA is ranked 9th. Actually, as a matter of fact, let me look through the new poll.
I'll keep going.
I know it's...
All right. So let's see. Kentucky beat Mississippi State. Then Clemson beat Florida State. And yeah, I mean, they're getting there. Seminoles are getting there. Utah beat USC 43-42. And the Tar Heels beat Duke 38-35. So there you go. And the current rankings, Tennessee is actually number 3 now. So Georgia, Ohio State, then Tennessee, Michigan, Clemson, Alabama, Ole Miss, TCU, UCLA, Oregon are the top 10. Then OK State, USC, Wake Forest, Syracuse, Utah, Penn State, K-State, Illinois, Kentucky, and Texas are 20. And then the last 5 are Cincinnati, UNC, NC State, Mississippi State, and Tulane. Oh, all right, the top 25.
And then did you see the RCFB one or no?
No. What's the difference?
I honestly, in a way, prefer the RCFB one because it has a much larger sample size instead of the AP, which is about 60-something people. Same with the coaches. There are hundreds of people who do the RCFB poll, so it kind of evens out, sort of, at the end of the day, if that makes sense. And I know it's just a bunch of regular folks, but I don't know. In some way,
regular
I don't
folks
know.
who are dedicated.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you've got Georgia at 1, Tennessee at 2, Ohio State 3, then Michigan, Clemson, TCU, Ole Miss, Alabama, UCLA, Syracuse, Oregon, Oklahoma State, USC, Wake Forest, Penn State, Utah, Kansas State, Illinois, Texas, Kentucky, North Carolina, Cincinnati, Tulane, Mississippi State, and NC State. Other teams receiving votes: Purdue, LSU, UCF, Kansas, South Alabama, Maryland, Liberty, James Madison, Florida State, and Oregon State. Which, by the way, props to James Madison. What a season so far. They just suffered their first loss. It was a close loss to Georgia Southern, which it's an upset. James Madison should have won that one, but shit happens. But 6-1, I think it's 6-1 in their first season at FBS. That's remarkable. It's a shame that they're bowl ineligible, conference championship ineligible for that matter. Because some stupid NCAA rule, when a team moves up,
they're like,
when a team moves up from FCS to FBS, they're ineligible for conference championships or bowls for the first 2 seasons. Why? I have no idea.
To satisfy the old guard, that's why. So they don't get embarrassed.
I guess.
Probably. Probably some, old fogies are like, I don't want Rutgers to be embarrassed. That's not what somebody from Rutgers would actually sound like. I have a New Jersey accent.
Well, yeah. I don't know. Charles may have a better knowledge of what a New Jersey accent sounds like.
I just think of Sopranos and Carmela and Tony. Whatever it is. Just heavy breathing with grunting involved, with a mild tinge of entitlement.
And next week there's only 3 games. What? It's only 3 games. I guess so.
No.
I see 3 games here. I don't know why. Unless Google's got everything all backwards. I just see
there's no way there's only 3 games.
I just see 3 games. October 27th. Oh, I guess for some real weird
probably
reason.
More than 3 games just in the top 25 teams.
Okay, I don't know. Alrighty. Now I just see, I don't know, unless they just don't have the times for the games. Probably, maybe that's why.
Oh, is that on Sunday? Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. So some other news. Max Verstappen is the World Drivers' Championship in Formula One. I forgot to mention that last time when I was talking about the whole, or maybe I did mention that.
My father
whatever. My memory sucks.
One, Andrew, because of that TV show that you were talking about on Netflix. About the
Drive to Survive.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's just like dedicated to it. And I made the joke is the fact that you like to see cars that can actually go like 50 miles per hour since yours break down half the time. He did not take too kindly to that sarcasm. But yet he won't watch NASCAR, which I've realized from when I talked to you guys about. People like F1 don't like NASCAR, and people like NASCAR don't like Formula One. Y'all confused me.
One is, American Vroom. The other one's European Vroom. So that's what.
Vroom and Vroom.
Like Ricky Bobby.
And the reason I was thinking about it is I saw an ad. I'm watching the Lightning game, so watching a
the
feed of ESPN. It was talking about how the U.S. Grand Prix is coming up this weekend, as a matter of fact, over in Austin, Texas, at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. It's quite beloved by drivers. It's quite nice track. Very unusual, a lot of different turns and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. That race is always interesting. Last year was down to the wire. I think if there had been one more lap, I forget who, whatever. Anyway, back to college football. Regarding our teams, FIU is on the road against Charlotte, which Charlotte is actually doing a lot worse than I thought than their season. They're 1-6. FIU is 2-4, but Charlotte still opens as a 14.5-point favorite. UCF taking on East Carolina, 7:30 in Greenville. Let's see who else. Big game. That's a big game for us because if we win that, we're probably ranked next week, depending on external factors.
Yeah, another
big game is
voted for you guys for at least getting to 25.
Yeah. And then 21 ranked Cincinnati facing SMU. There is an outside chance that if UCF and Cincinnati win, and UCF is projected to be ranked, College Game Day. ESPN's College Game Day might go to UCF for the Cincinnati game, which is next week. It's an outside chance because a lot of other big games are happening that week against highly ranked teams. But if a few losses happen, strategic losses, then it might happen, which would be cool. Especially because it's looking like Lee Corso, this is going to be his final year, or maybe next year. He's been slowing down a lot. It's obvious his health is not great right now. He lives in Lake Mary, which is outside of Orlando.
So for convenience sake.
So it would be cool. I mean, it would be great if, in his final season on game day, he gets to go, quote unquote, back home one more time. It's a bummer that there's basically no chance of going to FSU because that's his alma mater. So we'll see. I'm covering a college football game this weekend.
Famous get even more famous.
FAU or FIU?
Hard Rock Stadium to watch the Duke-Miami game.
Ah, all right.
What is this Miami team you speak of?
Yeah.
Hello?
We can hear you, dude.
I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, because you mentioned the name that shouldn't be mentioned.
Maybe Mario Cristobal should be voiced by Chris Pratt or something.
No, it would be somebody who knows the
This
crap
is
out of
my
it, so we'll
first
send Rob
time
Schneider.
covering.
I think Andrew's delayed. I think he's got.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, dude, but I think there's like a delay on your end because me and Charles are talking normally, but then like when we say something to you, there's like
you had like some pauses.
Yeah, there's like a
and
3-second like delay.
Yeah, that's why I talked about Mario Cristobal, but then I felt like I stole your spot, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe in 5
Yeah, I don't know what my computer's up to.
Yeah, that's probably the delay.
So anyway, Duke-Miami, this is my first time covering a regular season game at Hard Rock Stadium. I've covered a few games during the postseason at Hard Rock. Also my first day game. This one's happening at 12:30. The others have been at night. So it'll be interesting to kind of see the different atmosphere.
Well, I enjoy a ton of empty Aqua seats. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Let me see the rest of our teams. FAU is over in your favorite city, Francisco.
Oh, good old El
going
Paso.
to the Sun Bowl.
All right. You know what's funny? Wasn't last game wasn't Antonio Brown and Chris Jericho at the FAU game for some weird reason?
Jericho at FAU? What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have gone to that game in a heartbeat.
Antonio Brown was like there with like a saxophone, and for whatever reason, Chris Jericho was
that what
there
he calls
too.
his horn? I don't need to see that.
Well, yeah. There was images of just Antonio Brown hanging out at the FAU game. I mean, Antonio Brown's from here, right? So,
yeah.
There's that, and Chris Jericho lives nearby as well, and he's a Winnipeg Jets fan, which is.
He also just signed a 3-year contract.
Oh, and he was here.
AEW.
Oh, he was here because the Vikings were down. The Vikings are his favorite NFL team. So he was at the Dolphins game. So he went to the FAU game. Maybe somebody invited him or something, and then he went to the Dolphins game against the Vikings.
I feel like I would party with Jericho.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, I've been
he's a
watching
hockey
some
fan. I could watch
some WCW stuff, Bruiser stuff as well. So, helping him out, going from there.
Is
Pick his
Andrew
brain.
gone? I think he lost connection because I can't hear him.
Maybe all I got was Francisco joined the call on my link. So
I think he might have. Maybe he's gonna pop back in. So
well, all y'all guys got to take from this is that Miami sucks. Mario Cristobal is basically Rob Schneider in coach form. You're love. I love paisa, bro. I love Colombian food, but that don't make me the right guy.
Mm.
I like empanadas too. I hate that. Every time you go on the Twitter, you just see him with a freaking empanada shell with the sauce. You're like, all right, was that supposed to make you Miami? No, you're not out there in the middle of freaking 8th Street handing out water for like $3. Don't tell me you're Miami, bro. Don't tell me you're Miami.
All right, so I'm gonna see if Andrew pops in. I mean, I
Can you hear
see.
me?
Okay,
Yeah,
now
we got you, Andrew.
All right.
I'm moving to my phone because my computer is foobar.
Ooh.
So my audio quality might be worse. I apologize.
Yeah. Okay. But okay, so FAU. We were talking about Antonio Brown and Chris Jericho being at the game. So there you go.
So yeah, I don't know. So that's kind of what's going on in college football. I mean, aside from those upsets, it was relatively quiet. Although it's getting kind of funky with the. It's given me. I mean, I did follow college football at the time, but it's sort of given me 2007 vibes, which was the wackiest year in college football history. You're seeing teams that have been ranked that haven't been ranked in a long time.
But there's still like the blue bloods from the last few, except for Tennessee. Tennessee is like the only one that's broken through.
Right.
That's up there.
But like for instance,
UCLA,
TCU. TCU. I mean, it's funny. The Big 12, which is going to be losing Oklahoma and Texas in a few years.
Most fraudulent team is Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of I'm feeling kind of Schadenfreude because Dylan Gabriel is on Oklahoma. I mean, I feel bad for him because he did get a concussion or some severe injury, so I do feel bad in that regard. But he left UCF in kind of an ignominious way.
That's a big word.
Look it up. That'll be our mini Andrewverse. What is?
I wish I could animate I wish I could animate this, and we had like a Pee Wee's Playhouse type of thing. When you say this somewhere, it's like,
is it sad? I have an idea of what the Andrewverse image would look like. It would be Andrew's face, but the rays of the sun coming out of it.
I need to learn how to animate because that would be funny. It wouldn't. No, yeah, it'd just be Andrew, and he'd just be going nuts. It's the word of the day.
You'll make him like if you remember Angela Anaconda. That's how you'll do his word of the day thing.
Angela Anaconda. Oh my god.
Fuck
So
we're
tell you
old.
what I'll start to do is I'll start trying to drag out a random thesaurus word every week or so.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. I know what ignominious means or ignominous. It's a dinosaur. Damn it. I'm kidding. I know what it means. I don't know how to say it though, because yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Texas is the only of those teams that is ranked, and they suffered a pretty bad loss.
But they're
earlier in the
frauds
year.
too. So
They've been frauds for like the last 20 years, man.
But if you look at which teams are ranked that are going to be that will be in the Big 12 moving forward. Oh, and it was just announced that Oklahoma, Texas are going to be in the Big 12 until they're going to leave on, I think, July 1st, 2025. So they're going to be in for 2 more years, which is going to be interesting because that gives us 2 years opportunity to play Texas and Oklahoma, which would be fun.
huh. Cool.
So in the going forward Big 12, you have TCU, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Cincinnati, all that are ranked from the Big 12. And then receiving votes, you've got UCF. BYU was ranked earlier in the season, but they've suffered a couple of losses consecutively, so they dropped out. But yeah, you're seeing. Oh, and Kansas is receiving votes as well. But they lost 2 straight. So you're looking at like 6 teams that are or were ranked at some point, and that goes up to 7, or there's a decent number, like 7 or 8 teams that have received votes at some point that are or will be in the new edition of the Big 12. So it's your people that are saying that, oh, this conference is going to, go down the drain after those 2 schools leave, kind of talking out of their ass a bit, it seems.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so we're at 1 hour and 41 minutes. So I think we can just close out with the NFL. Let's see what's going on. What's going on with the games? It's still 0-0, the NLCS between the Phils and the Padres, and it's hockey, and then it's 63-63 between Boston and Philly. There you go.
Frauds. Trash.
Yeah. Okay, and all right. So let's hop on to the petty train, everybody. Let's run to NFL.
Charlie. I watched a lot of football. I'm just gonna put that out there because I was on the planes a lot and I watched Monday night. So there might be in-depth analysis.
You had a bunch of messages sent to the chat. So
yeah,
let me get the NFL scores up here. And I already talked about the Dolphins game. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I love hating the Dolphins, and the fact that they lose in this way, it's just kind of funny to me still. But
I mean, are the Vikings the most uninspiring 4-1 team or 5-1 team you've ever seen?
Oh, we know they're frauds.
But it's like frauds who are just going to get into the playoffs, even though like they seem like the most beatable team in the matchup.
They are. They are. They gotta hope that they can win enough so that they can get the bye in the first round. So even if they do lose in the divisional round, they'll just be like, oh, But like the wild card round, I feel like if a certain team could match up with them, then they would actually lose that round. Because like they beat the Dolphins, but they barely beat the Dolphins.
My only thought on the Dolphins is this, because I watched a lot of it. I didn't know the whole. I thought Teddy still wasn't cleared, and so why would you put Sky in instead of Teddy anyway?
Well, Sky got the first reps in practice, and I think Teddy Bridgewater wasn't cleared to play until like Friday or something like that. So Skyler got all the first team reps and all that stuff in practice.
Okay.
And then his thumb got all mangled up, and that's the only reason he came out of the game. And I mean, and then Teddy did all right, in a pinch, but he's Teddy Bridgewater. So, but the Dolphins still had a shot to win the game, which was interesting. If Jalen Waddle hadn't fumbled, they might have had a shot at it. And I mean, it was only 24-16, so Minnesota barely won. They only won on the backs of their defense.
My thoughts on Miami is that I felt like your team would be safer if you actually got a legitimate running back. I know.
Oh, they don't have one. Yeah.
I know McDaniel's love for Mostert is one thing.
They
but
kept using
you can
him.
You can only hold on to your love of the fast pace. All Miles Gaskins has disappeared, and he was kind of like a head honcho of all running backs the last 2 years of the Flores regime. Salmon, or whatever his name is, Salvin Ahmed, that's his name. Couldn't go in there, and Cam Akers is out there. He wants to lead the Rams. I'm not saying that he's fully healthy from all his injuries from last year, but what I'm saying is that you got about a 2-year window right now before the AFC East becomes, it is. You expect the Patriots to elevate,
Andrew,
and maybe the Jets.
I think your mic is causing an echo.
Yeah, I got a little bit of an echo.
Hold on.
So we're hearing it on ourselves. Now that I'm speaking, okay, now it's better. Okay, thank you. All right, so yeah, that was the Dolphins game. Thursday night football. What a I hope these games keep getting worse, to be honest.
Thankfully, I was in New York to avoid that nonsense.
The memes coming out for the Bears were fantastic. Man, that was such a terrible game, and I love Thursday Night Football now just for the memes. It is fun to see. The Ravens lost to the Giants. So Charles was in New York, and apparently they must be going nuts that the Jets and the Giants are actually good.
And as I'm flying, even like the flight attendants, which is like a New York-based crew, one of them was like over my shoulder watching the game as I was flipping through. Because shout out to JetBlue for having like the entire NFL ticket access, so I could watch really any game I wanted, which I did on the in-betweens. But the Ravens, like John Harbaugh, do you hate Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Can you coach that team
that
better?
Man is gone.
Yeah, can we just like, because
there's no effort to keep that man in Baltimore.
Yeah, it's like I like Lamar. I like what he does. I like revolutionary players.
Everybody likes him. Yeah.
Apparently not John Harbaugh. Apparently not the freaking GM. It's not Steve Biscotti anymore. It's somebody else.
It seems like I don't know. I think they go out in front, and then they have nothing in them to like keep themselves in the game, like motivated, and it just allows teams to come back and beat them. Like they shouldn't have lost this game, to be honest.
It's like always something. And I'm not saying that the New York Giants aren't feisty, but I feel like it's just kind of like you got the benefit of, first off, you shouldn't have beaten us. Randy Bullock missed that field goal. The field goal, so I'm gonna hold on to that. Fire Mike Vrabel, hashtag. But it's just more or less like when everybody looks at you, we don't take you seriously. You're like that 5'0" person who wants to pick a fight, and we're just laughing at you. We just don't realize that because you're tiny, that you took like deadly Brazilian jiu-jitsu and you can kill us. But we
wasn't that bagel seriously. Guy that was in
New York? The bagel guy.
It was in New York, right? So
yeah. This is the New York-based episode, so we don't take you seriously, and I don't take him seriously. I take Lamar seriously, and I feel like
the Giants are a feel-good story in a sense. As much as you
so I don't think you could say feel-good stories for anything that's New York-based because they never feel good about anything unless it's like a title or beating the Cowboys.
Well then, the Colts beat the Jaguars.
Boring ass game.
Probably Trevor Lawrence's best game. Actually.
Everybody want to be licking the nuts of Matt Ryan, saying he played great. The man had to throw 58 times to break 300 plus yards.
Yeah, it's just the Jaguars defense can't do anything. So
what the hell? Shaquille Griffin showing that UCF pride of not being able to cover for shit, just letting Alec Pierce run on him. What? I saw the game. I can come at it with real. There ain't no strays where I actually had to see these games and my eyes had to bleed.
You're talking shit about Shaquille?
I'm talking shit about Shaquille. He let Alec Pierce just burn him for a game-winning touchdown. Terrible $50 million investment. Shad Khan could use that to revitalize aid. He could bring back all the legal suits that's happening in AEW instead of paying Shaquille Griffin unnecessary money. Anywho.
Well, all right. So, the Browns lost to the Patriots.
Man, fucking... What is up with Bill Belichick and rookie quarterbacks? Bailey Zappi makes everyone happy. I know someone had to say it, but I'm going to say it now. Trademark it, copyright it.
Yeah, sure.
Like, literally, did it with Mac Jones and now put some ass whooping on some bad teams. Kevin Stefanski doesn't come back next year, right? Even if they get Deshaun Watson.
Because the Browns are not.
Like, how do you lose to a team that is literally showing up like a 7th-round guy from Western Kentucky, and you just don't run the ball with the two guys that you paid the most money on?
Yeah.
Baker can't be to blame all the time.
No. Well, we'll see once they actually get to Sean, so we'll see. The Pats, they won. The Bengals beat the Saints.
That was a good game, actually.
Yeah.
I was watching it.
That was bad.
Andy Dalton's better than Jameis Winston on that team.
Joe Burrow's love affair with his boy Chase, it's fun to see. I like it. Bromance. All right, the Tom Brady lost to the Steelers.
Oof.
The memes.
I don't know what's worse. Is it worse to lose to partially brain-rattled Kenny Pickett or, Mitch Trubisky, who's literally benched 1 week and then came back. And he doesn't play defense, so that's something people need to realize, but oof.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say, and this is nothing even on Brady, is it fair to say that the worst decision the Buccaneers could have done and should have done in this decision was just giving the job to what's his name after Arians retired out of favoritism? It wasn't Raheem Morris, but it was the guy who used to coach in New York, the New York Jets coach, whose name now escapes me because I was literally thinking about this. No. The current coach of the Buccaneers was originally the defensive coordinator, and then he used to coach in the New York Jets, and he got fired. And everybody's like, they like to blame the Jets for wow, maybe I did become a full New Yorker with the sentence I'm about to say. Everybody likes to blame the Jets administration for all the bad things.
So Todd Bowles is the
Todd Bowles, yeah, and
Bucs,
he didn't do shit in New York except for one season, and then now he played the favoritism to become the coach there as opposed to interviewing anybody else, and maybe that's the reason why Todd Bowles is just not a good coach, and that's why the Bucs are very inconsistent right now.
Well, Tom Brady was yelling, and I loved all of the memes regarding like I didn't leave my wife and kids to be losing to Kenny fucking Pickett at the half.
Great. Barry had one where Urinate Tree or Barry McCockner had one where it did the audio dub.
Yeah.
He was like, guys, I just pooped my pants while it's on the tree. It was
so scary. All right. So that was that part of the petty train. The Falcons beat the 49ers.
I'm kind of conflicted, but yeah, I'm always going to support Mariota. I feel like there's a little bit of like Andrew's UCF loyalty with certain players, even if they go transfer elsewhere. You want Mariota to succeed because I know what the potential could have been, but the guy just couldn't stay healthy. And I like Arthur Smith for what it's worth. We wrote a blog on him back when we had a website and we did blog posting. But muy bueno for them. Good for them. Yeah. The NFC South is open, so anybody's game.
Yeah. All right. This stop on the petty train. The Jets beat the Packers.
Oh my god, I watched that game too. And it was so good. Zach Wilson is trash, but Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur, brother of Mike LaFleur, head of the Green Bay Packers, who's also trash, know how to scheme around it. Breece Hall is legitimate. Michael Carter is good. Corey Davis is on that team still. Surprising.
The Jets have a good up-and-coming team. They just need a quarterback.
They just need a quarterback, and Lamar Jackson just happens to be out there. I'm just saying, Baltimore takes that trade. Yeah. Baltimore takes that trade. I'm telling you, because you can at least say, "Hey, we'll run into it." I'm just saying. But Green Bay, whose fault is it now, Aaron? Because I've seen Tom Brady go to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship with Jabbar Gaffney as their leading guy. So whose fault is it now? Oh, it's Alan Lazard. It's not the same guy. Oh, it's Romeo Doubs. Oh, they don't have Christian Watkins. The excuses that will be made, the excuses that will be made frustrate me beyond belief, because you know what happened, fellas? If you went on the hate Twitter, that comes in there's the Andrewverse. Well, there's a haterverse for Charles. And when I'm going on Twitter after the New York Jets rightfully destroyed a very overrated Green Bay Packers team, the excuse that came up was, since he's been the starting quarterback in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers has never had a wide receiver in the first round that he played against. So, what does that mean? He had Devontae Adams. He had Jordy Nelson. He had Randall Cobb before Randall Cobb was just a cell of favoritism. He had Donald Driver. He had Greg Jennings. Yes, they are not first-round talent. Good portion of them are at least Ring of Honor guys or Hall of Famers in the making. And you know what? Let me give you some names about first-round draft picks who didn't do anything. A.J. Jenkins from the San Francisco 49ers. He was a first-round draft pick. You complain about that? You want to suck him up with that? That's right. We're going down players we remember to forget right here on instinct. There was dudes that, what's his name? He was a wide receiver for the Bengals. John Ross was a first-round pick for the Bengals. Did nothing. Didn't catch a touchdown in his first season. Didn't do anything for 3 or 4 seasons. Then he went to the Giants, and then he's like somewhere being ignominious. Look at that, the big words that we're using here. I can give you a bunch of first-rounders that were wide receivers that did nothing. But is that – I literally just gave you 2 names that if you looked up right now, accomplished nothing, that they should be, scrubbing it out. And there was another one from the Chiefs that I will go around. coming into it. But that's the excuse that you want to make? Seriously? Stop defending it. Stop caring about it, because you're still a professional player and you're still top notch no matter what part you're drafted. It's coaching, it's scheming, and it's your quarterback being able to read the room. And then next he's like, maybe we need to simplify the offense so much. You can't just dig Hail Marys all the time. Yes, your defense gets shredded. Yes, your receivers can go from there. Change the play up. You couldn't get the running game going. But whose fault is it now? Aaron, please enlighten me on what it was.
Great. All right. The Panthers lost to the Rams. There you go. All right, next up on the penny train. The Cardinals lost to the Seahawks.
Oh, boy. Day of reckoning has come in because, boys, what's the... And I think I actually put it. I think I put it in the chat. What do I love more than being right Charles Stradamus rise? John Baldwin was the other wide receiver I was talking about from the Chiefs from 2011. That I literally point proven and taken. Thank you everybody for consideration. Kobe. What have I said about the Cardinals? Kyler Murray, that offense, and like that. And I had to watch that game too because I was coming into it. Good on Geno Smith. Very happy for him to be 32, mature, and read the room and speak to your offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. Whereas Cliff Kingsbury looks like a cat dying because the mother abandoned the street didn't want it because everything is on Kyler, right? Because who's going to go first? The guy that you just paid $200 million for, or Cliff? And I'm going to tell you right now, you fire Cliff, they're going to call UCLA and they're going to Chip Kelly. I'm like, hey, you're multidimensional. You know how to deal with young running quarterbacks who can take the ball run, and then we're gonna get fucking Chip Kelly back in the NFL. This is a terrible situation. No one wins in this situation. It was ugly. It was bad. What Kyler needs is that star wideout who's coming back next week, and DeAndre Hopkins, who helped make him more relevant instead of the new sensation. DeAndre made him to the current sensation, and we love DeAndre Hopkins in here. Not for the baby vessels of fantasy football, though we still love you for that. It was also because of the fact that when you are leading your team, catching balls from Brandon Whedon back in Houston, you got my respect. Hollywood Brown got injured, like a fracture in his foot. He'll be back in 6 weeks, so they had to change for Robbie Anderson. So what's going to be excuses now on Kyler why he can't move the ball? Oh, because James Conner was injured. Injuries happen, sometimes scheming. So the blame is a little bit also on Cliff Kingsbury. I'm not going to not throw it out there. But they only scored, 9 points? $250 million. 9 points? Sounds like a certain team on the West Coast in the AFC.
All right. So, there you go. All right. The Chiefs and the Bills.
Oh, Chiefs and the Bills. I didn't get to watch all of it.
No, but it was another classic matchup. I guess it's going to be the thing, right? Just like the Colts and the Patriots a while back, just being, in the schedule every week, because that's the way the NFL does things. So, I mean...
You know what's going to be funny? They're not going to meet each other in the playoffs. Hold me out right now. Mark it on this time and this date, as also mentioned in the greatest buffalo chicken sandwich known to mankind. They're not going to meet each other. Something's going to give. Both teams have a clear weakness, and it's not the fact of ball control. It's the fact that Buffalo has to keep coming from behind against the big teams, and I think that's going to catch up to them.
Yeah.
First off, Patrick Mahomes is ridiculous because I saw him do a sidearm throw to Juju Smith-Schuster or Marquez Valdez-Scantling that wasn't counted because it was a flag. But holy shit, man.
No,
but with Buffalo, I'm like, it's something about those big games. Whenever you're going for the last gasp in every game that you play, eventually the last gasp is taken, and it's never at the Super Bowl. It's always before that. And that's essentially what had happened in the AFC, aside from Blow Davis. Look, Gabe Davis from UCF, because Andrew's coming back in a little bit, he gets some respect. Corners got to learn how to cover, though. It's one guy just running vert routes. It really feels like Randy Moss without the Randy Moss catching ability from it. But it was entertaining. Do I think it's a new Brady-Manning rivalry? No. And I'm going to tell you why. Someone needs to win another Super Bowl or an MVP before we get there. That's the real thing that's missing. Because if you want to say talented quarterbacks, then you could say anybody versus Patrick Mahomes could be working with that, right? Because Burrow's probably your fourth or fifth best guy out there. If you're talking about the young quarterbacks, hell, Mr. Deshaun Watson coming out of there. If he put on some battles with Patrick Mahomes, anything's possible. The thing that made Brady and Manning top tier was there was actual voting that went into both of their favors.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was also the storyline of like, you cannot artificially push into my mouth to eat the idea that, it's a Brady Manning concept because Josh hasn't won the big one yet when they've only been in the league for 3 or 4 years. They were pushing Brady and Manning about 7-8 years in the league, I would say. I think you would agree with me. And what was always the thing? That, Manning couldn't win the big team. But I'll tell you right now, Manning never had until he went to Denver, ironically, the defense that is that strong and powerful as Buffalo's. But Manning had those cast of characters. To me, it's not identifiable, if anything, coming from it. Because we also blew our loads a little bit early because remember we saw that one Chiefs and Rams game a couple years back, and we're like, man, Goff and Mahomes, let's have that going. And then it came nowhere because how Goff got basically screwed over because of one good season. Led to a Super Bowl, but I digress. But yeah, to me, it's not yet. It's not Brady Manning yet because I think that's when you have to have individual awards that come in, and people might say, "Oh, Charles, you're crazy," but I'm like, Mahomes been MVP, Mahomes in Super Bowl MVP, Mahomes always a playoff guy, Mahomes always leading the characters. Allen's gonna get there, but Allen ain't MVP yet.
Yeah,
Allen hasn't been to the Super Bowl. Allen has done these things, and I understand that you can't play both sides. I'm just saying.
Okay, alrighty. The Eagles beat the Cowboys. They're still undefeated.
I think it's concerning when you almost lost to Cooper Rush, even though he threw like 3 picks.
Yeah.
I miss A.J. Brown. That's what I take away from the Eagles game. Desperately miss
And then another terrible Broncos game.
Watched it.
Overtime.
Loved it. Because I have 2 friends who are Broncos fans. And I think, what's his name?
Russ?
Herbert is just a fantastic quarterback to watch because he's still in pain. Russ is atrocious. What I love most about every Broncos game is none of the offensive players, because you don't see it on defense, but none of the offensive players can't control their emotions regarding every time they lose. You have KJ Hamler last week slamming his helmet like he just found out someone ate his favorite sopa when he was thinking about that meal all day, which is a terrible, tragic feeling for all of us. And then last night, it was last night. Last night, it's Jerry Jeudy complaining, and mind you, Jerry Jeudy doesn't catch shit. He couldn't catch, a cold or someone coughed in his mouth. But Jerry Jeudy complaining, and you don't know what they're saying, but complaining to Melvin Gordon about the last couple of play calls. Russ started 10 for 10 and then went like 3 for 16 or 3 for 12 afterwards. Nathaniel Hackett will not be on that team next year. The Waltons now own the Broncos, so just fire him, pay him out, and then find a more complete set of team that could possibly get you where you need to possibly go. I don't know Russ is the guy because all the throws he made, some guys couldn't catch them off, but some of them always looked about 2 inches away from being catchable. But I'm kind of loving that destruction because I never saw Russ as like the guy himself. I always thought he was a pedigree. I think, mind you, I'm going to say something right now. I thought he was a very good quarterback. He's a guy that you said, yeah, I'll take him on my team. But this transcendent superstardom that people were trying to throw him onto me was always kind of like, I've had last 3 years of show that he just kind of falls off the cliff. And then it's more like a indictment onto the abilities of what John Schneider and Pete Carroll were able to do on offense when they got you DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to really just be animalistic. Yes, you're getting sacked in Seattle, and that was the blame. Oh, it's the O-line. But if you actually watch Broncos games, unfortunately, we have to because they're always on primetime, it seems. Now I know I died and went to hell. They're always on primetime, it seems, is the fact that the guy, Russ just holds onto the ball too long, and he tries to make stuff happen with legs every single time. So what is it now, Russ? Who are we going to blame now that you're not in Seattle's O-line? The petty train is strong here today.
Yeah. All right, so that's the NFL. 2 hours and 4 minutes. The Phillies actually put up a run, so there you go. And
the Phillies are going to take it all, despite Joe Girardi. And I'm kind of there for it. It's weird.
Oh man,
because imagine a Yankees Philly World Series was like, oh, it's going to be the former team that Joe Girardi last won with that fired him because they couldn't deal with him anymore because he didn't have the opportunity to speak to his guys, versus the team that fired him mid-season because of the fact that he didn't know how to manage successful players.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be. Oh man, just as a person in the division, the Phillies having more championships than all the other teams is going to be something. At least it's not the Mets. That's probably.
You know who would piss off though if the Phillies won though? It would piss off Washington, because how much of the media and the fans clamor to the idea that Bryce Harper left? Oh, we just won. They just stroke themselves to it. Stroke themselves to it, man. Mm-hmm. And now it's just like, oh, he went, he got paid, he got an MVP.
Yeah.
And then, he was able to accomplish it and then win, man.
And that Washington team, literally, they just had that one season and nothing. Like they were just nothing after that. They had a fire sale. They're selling the team. So, yeah, it's over for... Yeah, okay. All right, so we're at 2 hours and 6 minutes, so I think we should head off over to the cage.
All right, which is interesting because right now I'm watching AEW because today is your... Oh, wow, that was a bad tombstone on Jerry Lynn by Chris Jericho. So let me just do the intros. Welcome, everybody, to your weekly Triplex The Cage with Charles. A little bit longer edition, but it'll be a shorter one because, right now we're on the cool-off period. What do we know about wrestling? It is not fake. It is staged fight. It's scripted. It's tales about men and women. Almost died on my spit here. Men and women chasing championships, establishing legacies, trying to beat the holy hell out of each other, get some international fame. And for the first time in over 18 months, we got a little WWE versus AEW. Why? Because there's all these sports that are going on. And usually Dynamite on TBS is on Wednesdays, but it got preempted for, opening night for basketball and hockey and baseball and all that stuff because we're in playoffs. So what happens is TBS, part of Warner Discovery, who is just doing some terrible things since the Discovery merger occurred. Like, seriously, you don't like making money? Come on. They shifted over to Tuesday, so it's going to be NXT versus AEW. And Charles, what are you watching? I'm watching AEW, man. There's a title match tonight that I want to see. Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley. That's your main event. That's for the NXT Championship. I'm sorry. Sin forgives me, Lord. Forgives me. It's for the AEW Championship. NXT right now has a little bit of everything, but they have Halloween Havoc, which I believe is this weekend. I'll look at the card to confirm that, to kind of double check from that. But I haven't really been on the NXT hype train for a bit, Francisco. It's not that it's gone stale. It's just kind of uneventful. Halloween Havoc is this weekend, by the way. I'll look at the card. I'll do predictions, even though I've been kind of, off it a little bit. But, it hasn't really melded. And since they're competing against AEW today, oh God, I never want to say his name again. We're on a new day. We're on a holiday. This is PTSD, Francisco. This is PTSD. Hunter sent down a couple of the main roster people to go work with the NXT people to kind of beat those ratings because he really wants to be AEW. It's not going to happen, though. AEW's card has been decent. I've been watching it right now, so you were kind of getting that live stream because I wasn't going to play any video games, knowing that after I had the high of the Yankee kick, I had to kind of go from there. The opening match was good. It was Best Friends versus Death Triangle for the Trios Championship. Match was fine. Tony Storm versus Shida. That was good. Then there was a long pause of MJF talking to William Regal, which I'll have to watch afterwards because it's a promo. I have the sound on. But it's kind of interesting. A few things to highlight. Crown Jewel in November. We know that's the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. The build's kind of been decent towards it. Seth Rollins is now the U.S. champion. We're thinking we're going to get Seth Rollins versus Mustafa Ali for the title. I think that could be a banger. Jericho just beat Dalton Castle to retain his Ring of Honor championship. Remember, Ring of Honor is owned by Tony Khan, who also owns AEW. So every now and then he broadcasts the other titles on there. He broadcasts it too much because I want storytelling. If I want to see Ring of Honor guys, I'll watch freaking Ring of Honor, man. What Jericho's doing is interesting as a story because he's calling it Jericho of Honor and he's going against all former Ring of Honor champions to the best of his ability to conquer to be like the supreme guy because his current gimmick is that he's a sports entertainer, not a wrestler. Mind you, it kind of loses steam now that Vince retired because Hunter is at the end of the day a wrestler's wrestler, right? You would think at least. Sports entertainer is just a moniker that Vince wanted to push on. It doesn't matter, though, because H has been giving me a lot of what I want, and we know who he's going to give me. But we'll stick on AEW, and we'll go to WWE for a second. So, Jericho, I like that story, but there's some expectations that there's going to be a TV deal soon, and then that should premiere in 2023, and that it might be a weekly streaming series beforehand. But you got to get it done. I need a little bit of that split between AEW and Ring of Honor so we can go with AEW contracted people to actually be on stage, because you watch wrestling a lot for the stories, man. Part of it's a soap opera. There's characters that you cared about, and I feel like there's a lot of people who have kind of been pushed aside when you have this little bit of a Ring of Honor merger. Mind you, it happens sometimes we get better talent, even when they're signing the outside people, but I don't also need to see the same people every week. You know what I mean? And wrestling, to me, if I had to explain to people, you want it to be a coherent, long arc story like a television show as a season, but then there's part of you that wanted to have an anthology series or a special guest star cameo. It kind of works a little bit, but that's just me. I am very excited for Moxley and Paige, which is going to be happening hopefully in about 5 minutes, and that's the main event. I sent you guys the recording, or not the recording, but the promo between Hangman and Moxley, because Hangman's mad at Moxley for calling him a boy, and then he has that whole promo that he calls, I've buried my family in the ground, I brought new life into this world, I've lost my current friends, my old friends aren't here anymore. He's referencing the Elite who have been suspended. There's no word on when they're going to be bringing back anytime soon, and who knows, right? There might be some legal issues because certain people are going to be suing other people. And he goes and says, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, the medicine isn't working, but I'm still here because I am a man. And he hits his head multiple times. Oh, that was so good. I think that's a solidification of a strong baby face. You need relatability. Sometimes, like, you don't need it for every single wrestler, but the idea that he's the anxious cowboy and he puts on stuff, I think that's how you appeal to people, because how do you create a good baby face? Remember how I used to tell you, how do you create a story when there's no titles involved? Well, how do you create a baby face who's more than just I'm going to get my dreams and fight for my dreams and do the right thing and be a champion? You got to make it more relatable. Like, hey, he's got issues. Yeah, he suffers. This sucks, but he wants something. He's going to go and he's going to pull the trigger if he's got to get it. Might also lead to a possible heel turn. So that main event I'll be watching when we get off the show. That should be fun. I don't think I have anything else on AEW for the moment. We can shift gears to WWE. Few things about WWE. Let's we'll end with NXT just because we have Halloween Havoc predictions coming in there. But meat slapping meat, Francisco, because I've been on the Meat Palace, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque, Triple H, the new guy, the boss, he just been giving me what we want, and what he has been giving me is a gift that is so beautiful. Since we're talking about Norse mythology, it feels like Brock and Sindri giving Thor, not Sindri, because I'm thinking God of War, Brock and Atri giving Thor Mjolnir, because H is like, hey, Charles, yeah, what's up, Hunter? You remember how you liked Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble? Yeah, I loved it. It was personally great. I felt like it could have gone better, but, I enjoyed it. Well, what if I told you that I'm going to give this to you again? Oh, Paul, are you going to give that to me at WrestleMania? Because I think that would be proper. There's no tells. Like, no, I'm going to give you at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. I'm like, oh, God, are you going to convince me to watch a show that's taken from blood money because I'm going to see colossal meat slapping meat? He's like, yes, Charles. He's like, and I know you like Norse mythology, so I'm going to give you Brock himself still as like cowboy Viking Brock. And last night, Francisco, they were on Raw, and Bobby absolutely destroyed Brock Lesnar with a spear and then a spinebuster through the table, and I was just, buddy, it was what I felt last night led me to 7:07 p.m. today when the Yankees beat, the Cleveland Indians, and then Josh Naylor, and say, who's the baby now? It was good. Because every now and then I like the acrobatics, I like the theatrics, I like people could sell, but you gotta remember, wrestling is also based off Greco-Roman wrestling, which is men suplexing the holy shit out of each other. Look at these two men just beating each other up. This is fantastic. My God, the memes have been hysterical because I also say it's the equivalent of Broly versus Jiren from Dragon Ball Z, and I can't get that out of my head. I can't get around. So it's going to happen November 5th. I'm ready. I'm going to watch it. That's a big pull. And this time, we're going to see what this match looks like without Vince McMahon putting his hands on this, without titles being involved, and the stories make sense. Brock doesn't like Bobby because Bobby beat him Royal Rumble with Roman's help. Brock doesn't like Bobby because Bobby doesn't like Brock because Brock screwed over Bobby in his U.S. Championship defense against Seth Rollins last week where he lost, so now he's no longer champion. It's simple stuff, and both of them are kind of the good guy, right? To a degree. because Bobby's turned a new leaf. Oh, they're meeting. Oh, okay, we got the main event going on, and they're meeting. They're just throwing hands at each other now. Oh yeah, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Got the intensity. So we're liking it. We're loving it. We want some more of it. NXT Halloween Havoc over this weekend. I have not been watching a lot of NXT lately because the problem is that the talent's good. The stories are kind of meh. And there's only so much wrestling that I can digest, even of itself. I know. Who am I? But this is growth. This is change, guys. You gotta understand that. But there are some matches I will be looking forward to. And the rumor, so Halloween Havoc was a WCW pay-per-view. I was actually watching Halloween Havoc 1989 the other day. The Steiner brothers were on there, and we know my love for Scott Steiner and his ridiculousness. But the expectations of the cards, it's not fully announced, but I'll give you the hints to it to a degree. So the main event's going to be Braun Baker, JD McDonough, and Ilya Dragunov. We love Ilya Dragunov. That mad Russian gave us a match of the year versus Walter, who's now Gunther, last year. It was fantastic. I loved it. He was the NXT UK champion. He had to vacate the title because he was injured. Braun Breaker has since now merged the two titles. I expect it's going to be Breaker who wins, but he's going to pin McDonough, who I'm not a fan of because he reminds me of the guy from Team America World Police. If you ever get to see a face of him on there on an image, and you'll agree with me. But I think the match will be good and lay us down to seeing Dragunov and Breaker going at it one-on-one, where we get the Mad Russian versus the dog-faced gremlin equivalent, because he's the son of Rick Steiner, so the pup of the dog-faced gremlin. Then there's the NXT North American Championship, which was vacated by Solo Sikoa when he beat Carmelo Hayes basketball. But you know what, Carmelo Anthony, I could see it. Let him do it. He's like 38,
get a championship,
yeah, he can get a real one, and it's gonna be a ladder match. Right now, there's like 5 participants, and I don't think they've announced the 5th one, but it's Von Wagner with his big dome. It's Wesley, formerly MSK. It's Carmelo Hayes, who we're a big fan of. And then it's Oro Mensah, who came over from NXT UK under a different name. I'll tell you this. Oh, it's Nathan Frazier's the other guy. It's either going to be Frazier or Wesley that wins it. I wouldn't be surprised if they put on Wagner to get a heavy in there. It's not going to be Carmelo, because I think if Dragunov doesn't beat Breaker for the main belt, then it's going to go to Carmelo for doing so. Manny Rose versus Alba Fire. The time Manny Rose ends, Alba Fire wins. Toxic Attraction gets called up onto the main roster. Finally, Roxanne Perez versus Cora Jade. Weapons Wild match. Hopefully it ends better than their first match, which is kind of weird. Like, she DDT'd her on a chair or a kendo stick, so I don't know why she wasn't disqualified. Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp in an ambulance match. Hear me out. Paul, or Hunter, I don't know what to call him now that he's the head honcho. Triple Paul has been they'll think Chris Paul, but we actually win championships with Hunter Assembly. But Triple H has been doing well with the gimmick matches, so that should be exciting. Julius Creed, Damon Kemp, they were part of Diamond Mine. Damon Kemp betrayed everybody. Julius Creed is basically getting that solo push, get some love in there. I expect him to win, go from there. Probably someone leaves NXT going from that. Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller, spin a wheel, make a deal. I don't care. Waller should win. I'll watch it. I'm not excited for it, but here's the difference, and that all of you need to understand. Even though I don't watch it, it's because the product might not be good within the 2 hours that they portray it in. But when you're talking about a pay-per-view right now, they call it premium live events, whatever the hell that means. It's the pay-per-view. People are paying money for it. Not everybody gets Peacock, which you should, for $4.99 a month. Come on, you can watch The Office, Parks and Rec on it. You can watch some Halloween stuff. You could also watch all the Harry Potters and wrestling. Why wouldn't you? It's $5. Don't need Taco Bell. I can do it. Even though I haven't been catching up with the shows weekly, it still could be entertaining, because now matches are giving a longer breath instead of the confines of how much time they can have on television and no commercial break. So I'll be watching it. Going from there, I gotta say right now, this match is really good for what I'm seeing, but this is my problem sometimes. I hate picture-in-picture with wrestling, and they have it, so I feel like I kind of lose the momentum. But that's all I got for you on this very short weekly edition of The Cage. So that's it, man.
Okay. All right.
And I see Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, Halloween Havoc 1997. Is that it? No, Rey doesn't have the red pants. It's just Rey
WCW and World War III, November 1997.
That was an interesting time when they did the World War III matches, because they had 3 rings and like the entire roster out there, and the last person who won got the Starrcade title. Or Starrcade shot at Starrcade for the championship, and that's how Kevin Nash versus Goldberg happened. Maybe I'll do a To Learn a Goof segment when we're off season on that. I can just watch Eddie Guerrero or anything, man. Like, he's Ultimo Dragon is really good at a lot of stuff. I said just there. Antonio Inoki, man. Japanese Jesus, basically. The stuff that I was sending you. The guy was revered, very loved.
Okay, well, I think that's it. So next week, I guess we'll see what happens with baseball and see how the first week of the NBA does, and football and hockey and whatever. All right, so bye-bye, everybody.
Go Yankees.
Good night.